I'll get this off the Kalixen.
Cal. I seen Attack on Titan season 3 reaction, and I'm like, stand by for things to get stupid next season. Because oh my god, it's gonna get stupid next season.
You realize we're live, right?
I mean what I say.
I'm gonna put this out on Twitter.
I mean exactly what I say. Next season of Attack on Titan gets really fucking stupid. For anybody in there who's not caught up with the manga, oh boy. New subscribers, Silver Creation.
Oh, wait, someone already subscribed?
Silver Creation.
Well, thank you for subscribing, Silver Creation, if you're watching. I don't know if you are or not. That's a test render. I don't need that. I need this.
I don't know if this is from last stream or not because it's showing.
Yeah. It's definitely from last stream.
So
actually, it might be from even before that. I switched themes for this particular one, so it might be.
Yeah. Phantom of the Night. We are talking about the. I guess she's a YA author.
Yes. Kiersey Burkhardt.
Young adult. Yeah. No, there's no point talking about Eddie Rivas. I mean, his work with Rooster Teeth kind of already stands on its own at this point.
What other RubyTubers should I tag in this? Because I'm tagging Unicorn, Kalixen, Murder of Birds.
Kaido Dan? Dan might help us out. Dan's a cool dude. Maybe Fang, if he's interested.
Is that Cole Palman? Is that his name, or is that someone else?
Yes, yeah, that's an. Yeah, I mean, Shonen Attack on Titan has never been amazing. If somebody tells me they think it's shit, I'm not necessarily going to dispute them.
Yeah, but those 5.
But there are things about the show I like, or the story that I like, and there's also stuff that
that's up and that's done.
Do not like.
So hopefully everything is good. How many people do we have here today?
Quite a few so far. Ewan, she was gonna, but she's still recovering from
we were going to have good old Cal on with us, but she's recovering from con funk, and she wanted me to let all of you know that it was Arnold's fault. That Murder of Birds was the cause of it, because I think they shared a room, as I understand it right.
You know, you're doing nothing to like quell the rumor idea.
I don't believe that rumor for a second.
I
don't know. The idea came to my mind when she said that, but I'm like,
I just like the wording.
No,
was not ideal.
I know the way she worded it. I was just like, all right, she's just talking very frank about it. I don't think anything weird's going on like that. Holy crap, 46 viewers, Jesus. Oh my god, this is like the most I've ever had on a stream.
Wow.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. It's weird. Hey, you know, it's weird. I've been to 4 RTXs and 2 PAX Easts, and I've never gotten sick.
So let me introduce myself, because we might have more people, more unusual types of people here. I'm Renee McNeil, host here at Celtic Phoenix Productions. I am one of the members of Team Frostbite, the most organized, I would say, of the Ruby critics, the ones that have sort of the widest broad base of it. We have, our harsh critics like Fat Man Falling, who I know a lot of people don't really like. We have British Ninja, who's just sort of there for the lulz. You have Tom here, who actually has recently dropped the show because he didn't feel like the quality was worth it.
I kind of just...
And my own work focuses on rebuilding Ruby from the ground up in a fixing series to demonstrate what I think you can get from the series and what I think the series is trying to do, where it fails.
Yeah. And then just to briefly introduce myself, I'm Tom Haran. I am the host over at Six Productions, critic, YouTuber, actor, writer, editor, kind of jack of all trades, master of Jack. I did cover RWBY for a while. My Volume 6 is probably going to be the last review until the show ends, and then I can just, like, then I'll retrospect it maybe. But I also do the Red vs. Blue retrospectives. That's going to keep going because those videos are way too much fun to drop. And whatever else I feel like, because that's how I've always gone about my YouTube, is whatever.
And
I want.
on top of that, I am a published author. I have an English degree of a 4-year English degree.
I'm working on the
He's working on
the part,
he's also
yes.
an author in the making.
Yes, I've got a couple of short stories floating around the internet, and if my fucking writing program will ever load back up, then I'll get back to work on that book. But my computer's
so we should probably get on to the main focus, and why we bring up that credential. Why we bring up those credentials is that we are currently talking about RWBY Volume 7. Now, I doubt any of you came here not knowing what RWBY was, so I'm not going to bother introducing that. But those of you who may not have been paying attention to RTX this year, they announced that they brought on 2 new writers to help write Volume 7 of the show. The first one being, what's his name? Eddie Rivas, who worked on RWBY Chibi. Am I understanding that right?
No. Rivas worked on RWBY 10. And then he also had some book. I think he had a couple books that he published. Among them, he also did some work on the unofficial RVB or the official RVB guide. And then he came under his teeth full time, and he started working on shows like I think he did Camp, and he worked on Nomad Nowhere. He does a lot of work with like the animation.
And we know he's a okay writer. Is that safe to say? Do we know the quality of his writing in a vacuum?
He did good work with RVB 10, and Camp's been, it kind of fell off my radar, but overall I'd say it's a pretty solid watch. But he also had a heavy hand in Nomad, and Nomad was what I saw of it. No way.
So that's I know Fat Man has a lot of praise for his funny moments, but we don't know the quality exactly. We don't have a good gauge on that, but we do, however, have a gauge for the second person they have brought on, being Kiersey Burkhart, who is a published author of since it looks like before 2016, but we're not quite sure on that because the publication dates have not been listed for her earliest book. I'm not entirely sure. Let me try and see if it's on the actual summary page.
Oh wait, One Brave Summer is published January 1st, 2017.
What? Why isn't that listed?
Yeah,
that shouldn't be. Okay, so her entire publication history.
Okay, the publication on the horses book. The publications on the horses books are weird, man.
Yeah, well, we're trying to cover them in chronological order, but it's like listing things in like not chronological order. Like those books, those horse books. I think the V word might be the first. I think we've got to rearrange this. The V word is probably first, but that makes sense because it's a collection of stories that she's only briefly attached to.
Gideon,
we are about to find out, and the reason, oh my god, 99 people. Oh, guys, get one more person in here, and it'll be a personal best.
I'm seeing 100.
You're seeing 108? Oh my god.
Watch.
This is the most people. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Holy crap. I've not had this many people in a stream.
We're not going to keep
doing
introductions.
We're not going to keep, if you want to watch the introduction, just skip back and then watch everything at 2 times speed. So, the reason why is we saw some reviews for her most recent novel, The Castle of Lies, that were mildly alarming. Now, she's known for having a lot of work in the LGBTQ whatever field. I'm very kind of middle of the road on all those issues typically. I'm a very big supporter of gay rights and all that such. But, when it comes down to the actual politics, I generally don't like it at least being shoved down our throats. I like them. They're fine as background details, but like I'm very much not up things being shoved down throats. But if they're going to be shoved down our throats, I like them to be good. And from what I'm hearing... Okay. All right. We'll get into this. Let's look at some of the reviews.
I think all of our regular viewers already know my stance on it. I'm all for it. But I also just need to say that you need to make it a part of the story. You don't sacrifice the story for it.
It's something that needs to be diegetic to the setting and characters. Like
exactly.
You need to write characters first. Then everything else is secondary, at least when it comes to character dynamics and such. But so let's actually dive into some of these reviews. We're going to go from as early as possible up through her most current book, because her most current book is the one that really set off the alarm trails, but everything else seems to be on the up and up.
Yes.
And for the record, we have not actually looked into these reviews very thoroughly. I actually told people to stop reading the Castle of Lies ones because they were getting too funny to not read spontaneously.
Yeah.
So the V Word is her, what we can speculate is her first known publication. Does it have a preview? It does not.
Yeah, and it looks like
None of these books have previews. It sucks.
Yeah. No, but it looks like there are a lot of authors involved with this one as well.
So there's there's a lot of authors involved, and it's basically, it looks like a compilation book. I don't think we're gonna get much out of this. We were debating whether or not to show it on stream, but I thought for completeness sake we would do so. But we're not gonna read because I mean, look at this. We have Amber J. Kersey, Molly Bloom, Sidney Joachim, Vertram. I can't know if that's the same person. Alex Meeks, Carrie Mesobrain, Sarah Merck, Sarah Ryan. It just all these authors. I think they're just all on these.
Yeah. I don't know any of these authors.
Yeah,
either.
I mean, weird considering I've written a young adult lesbian novel or a short stories collection. I'm not very steeped in this type of world. But let's go on to her One Brave Summer, her first book as far as we can tell. Which, as described, Pally Dixon is not excited about 6 weeks on a horse ranch without access to the virtual world of Dragonfire. In-game, she's the blue elf, strong and powerful. In the real world, she's coming off a bad year after moving from Los Angeles to Denver. At least Prince, the majestic horse she's paired with at Quartz Creek Ranch, makes her feel like royalty. To gain Prince's trust, Pally has to find her own confidence, which isn't easy with jerks like Bryce around. When she makes an exciting discovery near the ranch, life finally seems interesting as interesting as Dragonfire. But to protect her real-world treasure, she'll have to figure out how to turn the courage into action.
Okay, I have to call bullshit right off the bat. Nobody is ever sad to leave LA.
Notice.
Everybody I have ever known from LA was happy to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, but if you're a kid, you might not know any different. Notice that that's a big thing in a lot of like films. The kids moving from California to somewhere else. There was that skating film that I remember. The kid who was a surfer moved from LA to Cincinnati, my hometown, where I am right now. And I live right near Devil's Backbone, which was supposedly the most wicked spot to skate because it was actually about learning how to skateboard. That entire film. And, like, in the film, they showed it going all the way down through, like, Cincinnati, the city proper, when really it's out in the township of, like, Delhi and Green, I'm forgetting districts. Crap. Regardless, it's like out in the suburbs. It's out in the suburbs, and it's nowhere near its Devil's Backbone for a weird... Sorry, I like talking about that. I think it's funny.
No, yeah, it's fine. Like my skating days have long been behind me. So
all right, so we're scrolling down, and the first review is a 2 out of 5. That's not a good sign. So let's see.
Where am I? Let's see. Oh yeah, here it is.
You guys seen this on stream? How's the stream looking? Okay, it's taking a minute to scroll down.
Yeah, it's delay. Yeah.
Pally has been having difficulty making friends and fitting in at her new school. She has retreated into her favorite computer game, and her parents are set on stopping it. Okay, it's giving a summary. I don't need this. Yeah,
a lot of Goodreads reviews. I've seen this before. A lot of them will do a quick summary.
Why? The summary is right there. Unless you're going to be like sarcastic about it, like
I don't know.
Like
a lot of like I've looked up a lot of book reviews on Goodreads, and a lot of them have the summary of the book.
It's like, while learning the responsibility of ranchers, the tweens come across a fossil and must work together to save it from those who would like to steal it. This was a good children's novel. It only bugged me that children call each other kids. What?
But they do call each other kids.
That kid was mean to me, Mommy.
That doesn't make
happens.
any sense.
Good story for juvenile horse lovers as well as those struggling with change and friendship issues. This is telling me nothing about the actual book. Recommended for older elementary readers or reluctant teen readers. The prose is easy to read, but deals with complex emotions like forgiveness and empathy for those who hurt you. Is that really complex? Also, was that wow? There was only 3 reviews.
Forgiveness can be kind of a tricky issue because, like, should you forgive him? You know, that's kind of That's something
any
everyone kind
stats
of
on
has to
this
go
book?
through.
Like,
Because a lot of people like they either like internalize that shit or they
it's
let
hardcover,
go.
224 pages. Okay, so next one is the Long Trail Home.
Yeah, so
Yeah, nothing super
too,
offensive
nothing
here
really
yet.
sticks out about that one. All right, Long Trail Home, pulling that up now.
Rivka,
Closing out of this one.
who made these names? Rivka can't wait to
What
get
the f-
away
Rivka?
from her family for the summer. Since that terrible day last year, she wants no part of their Jewish community. Okay, it's starting interesting. At least,
Oof! I'm pulling my shirt collar already. Oh
at
boy.
least at Quartz Creek Ranch, she feels worlds away from home along the Colorado scenery, goofy ranch owners, and baby animals. Other parts of Quartz Creek, however, are too familiar, including the unsettling wave of anti-immigrant threats to ranch workers. On a trip to the country, Rivka is also surprised to learn the history of Jewish pioneers in the area. When she and her defiant cabin mate, Kat, face disaster in the wild, Rivka will need to find strength deep within her to help them both get home safely.
Okay, that tonal whiplash right there felt like I was getting whipped by a tonal cat of nine tails.
It's like, okay, well, it has 4.5 out of 5 stars, so let's see how that ramps up here.
Okay.
This review,
right.
it was a long review. Okay, this review is meant for parents, teachers, and other people that worked with children to read. Rivka is a bit tired of synagogue life. In fact, she's a bit tired of being different from people because she is Jewish. She does not think she will even have a bat mitzvah and doesn't really want one.
Isn't it bar mitzvah?
But there's bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah. It depends. Yeah.
They're two separate things.
I think bat mitzvah is for girls. Bar mitzvah is for boys.
Yeah. Yes, Nightcry, it is me.
Yes. As soon as she steps off the airplane, things start to become much different for her. From the person who holds up a sign for her, to her ranch mates, to the different lifestyles working with the horses. This is not telling me about the quality of the book. This book helped me discover that some people who often feel rejected by most of the world sometimes hurt other people rejected by most of the world.
Wait,
that makes sense.
The feel rejected by most of the world sometimes hurt other people rejected by most of the world. Okay. I had to read that because I'm like, wait a minute.
When they find other things in common with people besides their religious background and or race, they tend to treat each other better. I mean, that should be self-evident, but okay.
Yeah.
It's sounding very simplistic, but it's a children's book, so maybe I can forgive it there. The reason for the title of the book came back towards the back of the book for me, but I think some people might be able to see it happen much sooner. The Long Trail Home. I mean, it says there in the story that they have to get home. Like it's a long trail home, and I'm going to guess it right now. The entire story is about her learning how she needs to come and connect with her family and her religion and all that such. And I'm guessing she has a bat mitzvah at the end. It's a great book for you who are familiar with the Jewish life, and also for those about to participate in a bar. But yeah, that's obviously how it has to end now.
This reads like a book report almost.
Yeah,
Good lord.
These are some of the most... Okay, so here's a 3-star. Let's look at some of the lesser ones. The Long Trail Home fits with a number of recently published books that have taken on depicting current events. Asterisks. Which the asterisk says property of the rebel librarian, also a middle grade novel, takes on censorship of books in the library. Okay, so it's just citing the other book. It very tamely depicts anti-Semitic graffiti and mentions anti-immigrant rally and a beating of a person who is a minority. These descriptions are mild and therefore appropriate for upper elementary and middle school students. The main characters battle with their desire to run away from her Jewish identity and her upcoming bat mitzvah, and coping with the challenges and fears involving being different and embracing her identity. Any child who loves horses would enjoy this book. There's a lot of description about her experience on a horse ranch in Colorado. All right? That's like a weird thing that they tack on at the end.
I know. Like, I feel like the horse thing is almost like tacked on as like a
love of animals and the outdoors permeates this novel. Rivka struggles to find her. I read all 4 books in as many days, and I must say this is the best. This is the best in the series. This was read aloud with Scarlett. I appreciate the pro-immigrant storyline. But it still gave him a 3-star. I love this book. It's a wonderful story about facing fears and courage. We read many books for kids about racism that are set in the past. This middle grade novel puts events occurring today into a contemporary story that also includes horses. I know what kids and I already know what kids I can pitch it to. Part of the new story called Quartz Creek Ranch recommended. All right.
So basically, so what I'm getting so far is that they're good books for
Yeah,
kids.
they're good books for kids. They're not like, but they're also like, these reviews haven't been like very helpful.
No.
Which is weird because some of the ones when we get to Castle of Lies are very detailed.
Well, what I found, people get more detailed when something's bad than they do when something's
Yes,
good. It feels like.
but
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, I'll be asterisk.
So here's a 5-star. I've always loved
like,
horses, and this one didn't disappoint. At top speed, oh sorry, I'm skipping because I'm just like do I even need to read the summary for top speed? Let's read the summary for top speed. Okay. For Ella, winning has we're just gonna skip the top speed because we're done with those things. For Ella, winning has always been the goal, and at Quartz Creek. I can't pronounce the name Quartz Creek. At the ranch. Meanwhile, at the ranch, she's pretty sure she'll ace horseback riding too. There's just one hitch in her plan. The literal hitch for the horse. I mean, figure 8, the beautiful quarter horse she's paired with, won't listen to a word she says. Oh my, what a surprise. Struggling with figure 8 could be a motivation, the motivation Ella needs to control her ego and temper, especially when she's turned onto barrel racing. Figure 8 would be incredible at it.
Racing.
Not me, her. Incredible at it, she knows. But quiet, sensitive Jordan is the only one on the ranch with the time to teach Ella those high-speed turns. Horse drifting. Deja vu. I remember this place before. Neighing on the streets, and I know it's my time to go. Suddenly, Ella faces a new challenge on her road to success, figuring out how to be a good friend. Do we even need to read the reviews for this? It sounds bland as hell.
Well, it's got 4.5 stars.
Yeah. I've always loved horses, and this one didn't disappoint. At top speed is the story of Ella, a girl reeling from a broken home, an overbearing father.
This is just a summary.
Give me something about the damn book, would ya? Wait,
okay,
see review.
See, there's a 2-star review right below it.
Oh.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wait, see review? Let me double check that. Is there actually more to it?
Yeah, I think. Wait. Okay. So wait. No. It's completely the same.
No, it's not. Okay.
It's like I guess see it as a different page.
I guess so.
So Nowinski Hannah at top speed of Darby Creek. Wait, what? Nowinski Hannah at top. What? Why is it? Is that who's the? Why is it saying Nowinski Hannah? Is it the publisher?
Wait, who's that?
Who?
At
this new review here. This review by Cindy Mitchell kissed the book.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it
says
right now.
Nowinski Hannah at top speed, 232 pages. Darby Creek Learner, which I think is the publisher. So who is Nowinski Hannah? Who is Hannah Nowinski?
That's a good question that I don't have an answer to.
Everything's G across the board. Listen.
Oh, also, aren't these horse books also co-written by somebody else?
Yes.
I'm seeing another author
Amber
name here.
J. Kaiser, who I don't know. Let's see.
I don't know how much is.
She was also on the
really.
V Word.
I don't. Okay. I was thinking. Is that like a?
And she's also cited on all the horse ones. So it's like maybe.
Maybe she's the strongest.
That's not a good sign, guys. Oh no.
Oh no.
She could very well be the one keeping Kiersey in check. Okay. Well, let me check Castle of Lies briefly. No, Kiersey's the sole site. Okay. So Kiss the Book gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Let's see.
2 stars.
Of course, there are many student readers who are going through a horse obsession like I myself did. I never understood that. Why horses? Having some horse books in the collection seemed like a must-have, but I just didn't care for this book. The characters are so unlovable and hard to connect with. I just felt irritated and found myself feeling bad for the grown-ups in the book. If a reader can make it past the lengthy section, they will love the well-written horseback riding and the most realistic evolution of the main character. The cover would be a huge draw.
Wait.
This is one of the blandest covers on the planet! This is blander than the motherfucking After the Fall cover, for Christ's sake! This is more stock than a fucking handgun! I don't even know what that means!
It looks Photoshopped.
Yeah,
Jesus
it's like
Christ.
her.
Turn off. I didn't turn you on, Alexa. Jesus Christ.
Okay. Alright, terrific new series. See notes at the end about the series in general, blah, 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 blah. Here are my notes about the series in general. This was written with just the right amount of predictability for the age group middle reader. Kids with the problems go to a horse ranch for therapy. This was handled sensitively, with not too much graphic information about situations. Kids find they are worthy of being understood and respected, and there's an underlying belief in redemption. Kids grow in steps, not all at once, and the changes are believable. The series would speak to troubled kids, and it would teach the value of compassion, kindness to kids who aren't so troubled. Other concepts: value of hard work, high expectations, and of teamwork. Kids who like horses would be drawn to this, but really any kid could enjoy them. And then Bob Bakke. This isn't the sort of book that I normally read, but I enjoyed the experience. The good character development creates an ending with the realistic sense of triumph, keeping this novel grounded and relatable. Can we all agree this is generic as hell?
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm noticing from these reviews is like, I keep saying the word like handled sensitively, like they handle these issues well, which seems completely counter to what we saw.
We'll get to that. But I'm also seeing that same thing. So, Shy Girl and Shy Guy, which by the way.
Which is not
be careful Googling that. Just saying, there's some art out there you might want to avoid if you're of certain inclinations, or you might want to find. Go ahead, go for it. Yeah, I'm not gonna judge you. More stock than a handgun. Someone's quoted me on that. I was trying to say like more stock than a rifle butt, but I didn't. I didn't.
That's your presidential slogan right there.
I didn't connect like my thoughts there. Instead of rifle, I went to handgun. I don't know why. Okay, so Shy Girl and Shy Guy. For Hannah, Quartz Creek Ranch, said it right this time, was the worst kind of punishment because there was nothing she fears more than horses. Then she meets the beautiful gray named Shy Guy, who's just as afraid of people as Hannah is of horses. Can she help Shy Guy overcome his past of abuse and abandonment and restore him to his former glory? No, because they're both shy of each other.
Do you think any of these characters meet up?
What?
Do you think any of these characters meet up since they're all in the same place?
Maybe. I mean, that would actually be like oh my god, new MCU, Quartz Creek Ranch, Avengers, the Horse Avengers. We'll get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we're at 192. Hi everyone.
Hey-o.
Feel free to stick around. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell. I'd be love to have you guys here.
Yeah, boy.
So we're just catch everyone up because we're almost near the end of the quote unquote good stuff. The good books.
Horse books,
We're going through the novels and reviews of those novels by Kiersey Burkhart, who is the new writer for RWBY, trying to gauge the quality of her writing because we saw some things that are somewhat alarming in her newest book. But we'll be getting to that shortly. Right now, we're in the last of the horse books. When I was little, I loved horse books. I grew up, blah, blah, blah.
I received a free.
I would love to read this when I was in my tweens.
You didn't really put a review there,
Wonderful
but
debut, and pretty much. Is this the debut? What the?
Is this the debut?
I don't know. Like the weird. Maybe they all came out once or something like that.
The horse books are like the horse books are like not really.
Yeah, they're not numbered. They're
so
not given
like...
an exact date when they're published. So it's like. So a wonderful debut, pretty much everything you want in a book with horses and a girl on the cover, full of wonderful characters.
What the fuck does that
Full
mean?
of wonderful characters, both human and horse, facing fears and standing up for yourself and people and horses you love. This book is about growth, friendship, and learning about yourself in ways both wonderful and terrifying. Full of great horse scenes, middle-grade relationships, and harrowing finale. This book is for every kid who feels lost sometimes, and for every kid who simply loves horses.
I should laughed at that.
Okay, so
That's
this one,
crazy.
this is from Kiss the Book, who gave the last one 2 out of 5 stars. Gave this one 4 out of 5. Hannah ends up at Quartz Creek Ranch. It's a summary. Let me see. Hannah ends up earning. Yeah.
This book was far and away better than the other book I reviewed in the series. The story is really truly about a girl and a horse bonding. The author does a great job creating memorable characters and a pace of plotline that creates a believable relationship. I think horse fans would adore this book.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
Is this the next one? Yeah. It's weird. Like I think only 3 reviews are showing up, but like, no. There's 18 ratings, but only 5 reviews. Yeah, there we go. I think this is a debut, although I'm pretty sure there were 3 or 4 different ones in 2017. Impressive output. I'm putting the same review on the other books I read in the series with. This was written with just the right amount of predictability. Okay, so basically it's the same thing the other one said. So yeah. All right, now we're off the horse books. As it seems to be her first book solo is The Honor Code, which has the first noticeable dip.
Right.
Every book, all the horse books had a 4.5 rating. This has 3.75,
Right.
which is not a sharp dip, but it's a dip that's noticeable. So let's see.
Yeah. So she is definitely the solo author on this.
Sam
one.
knows how lucky she is to be a part of the elite Edwards Academy. As she dreams of getting into Harvard one day, she's willing to do anything to fit in and excel at her private high school, even if that means enduring hazing, signing up for sports she hates, and attending the school dance with an upperclassman she barely knows. Okay. But when she learns at the high cost of entry, will Sam be willing to bury the worst night of her life in order to keep the community sacred?
Oh Lord!
Is this what she meant when she talked about?
I think I know where this is going.
As the line between truth and justice blurs, Sam must find out for herself what honor really means.
It sounds like a Cruel Intentions kind of.
5 stars.
kind of
Thought-provoking, intensely imaginative. Must read about rape culture that deserves a wider audience.
Okay. All right. Okay. This person's going into pros and cons.
This next
which
person?
is good. Samantha WLABB,
which stands for Willab. Yes.
Okay.
I am always intrigued by books set in boarding schools, and this one deals with the darker side of those institutions. You know, honestly, I kind of wish I had gone to a boarding school for the experience, but at the same time, I also am glad I didn't.
I think there's one near my old high school.
There's like none in my area.
The only time
That's kind of the beauty of a boarding school. You don't have to live there to be. You don't have to live near it.
Yeah, you don't really have to know anyone.
Though multiple issues were touched upon, the one which caught and kept my interest revolved around sexual assault and the fallout experienced by the women who are brave enough to speak out. Pro. The book was broken into 3 acts, each with a distinct focus in the story. I like this division, which kept me very focused, and I also really liked the addition of the second POV, as she served a purpose I was not fully aware of until almost the end. Pro.
So there are 2 POVs.
Sounds like it. Pro. Burkhart showed the good and the
Okay.
bad sides of boarding school. She introduced us to the nice and not so nice people at said school, and I appreciated that she didn't paint the school and people with, affiliated with the school as all bad. Okay, all right. Con. Sam was a really complicated character, and I don't think we got to know her as much as I would have liked to. Okay. Pro. But I think that was the point. Part of her needed to be kept concealed in order for this story to work.
That
That's that. Pro. The story definitely ramped up in Acts 2 and 3 as Sam prepared for and actively sought justice. These were my favorite parts of the book, and I loved seeing that side of Sam. Okay. Pro. There was a very awesome twist, which I only saw coming really close to the reveal. I tip my hat to Burkhart because it was a really great way to distinguish the story from a field of sexual assault stories. All right.
That just raises further
Pro,
questions.
as a woman, I found myself angry and frustrated and nodding my head over and over again. There were so many things that happened in this book which were appalling, but sadly quite realistic. You care to give an example, please? Because you're not giving any of us who are just reading your review any kind of information.
You're just being really intentionally vague. Oh, maybe that's why Miles and Carrie brought her on.
Pro. The ending had many elements that were not shocking, but I was.
Oh, wait, this is the review. Never mind.
The effect seeking justice had on the young woman in the story. Quote, "This is the price for speaking up," I write. "This is why we so often stay quiet. Who would willingly bring this into their life?" I mean, all right, that's fair enough. That's that. You gave us an example, and we're satisfied. You gave an accurate statement here.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that for the rest of them? Give us more pros and cons with examples, please. Oh god, that's why I wish like some reviews actually had like spoiler tags. That would so help. So help.
Goodreads, if you
spoiler
see
tags.
That's some criticism.
Oh, guys, get 2 more people in here. We're almost at 200. Oh, that would be amazing.
Hey. I got.
Oh, you do?
On
oh, damn!
Screen.
Yes.
So.
Yes, personal best. Overall, an interesting and thought-provoking look at rape culture and the repercussions survivors are forced to endure when they speak out, which left me simultaneously sad, frustrated, and angry.
Okay, so that's...
The next one's 2 out of 5.
Sounds
You know the part in Silver Linings Playbook where Bradley Cooper yells, "What the fuck?" and throws a farewell to arms out the window?
Yes,
I wanted to do that with this
I
book,
do.
but it was a library copy, and I was in a moving car. But yeah, my sentiments exactly. That doesn't help because we don't give exact example why, but entertaining.
Yeah, I know, but I know the scene. I know the scene she's talking about, and okay.
5 out of 5. Oh wow, let's see. So, I love a good boarding school book, and who doesn't love Honor Code must read. Edward's Academy, it's summary. Burkhardt has woven a story about rape culture, class power, the limits of friendship, girl-on-girl meanness in a way I've never seen before. I never realized what was coming, and I'm still not sure about how I feel about it. Yes, I'm being purposely cryptic. The unfortunately realistic resolution will have me thinking for a while. Sam is a brave, strong, scarred, and artful young woman.
Scared.
Semantics.
Scarred has 2 R's.
Look, I don't read good. I might be an author, but I don't read good.
I have a shirt that says I do words good. So I should be wearing it.
Reluctant to come forward, too passionate to stay silent, she endures the high price for coming forward. I don't know if I would have been strong enough to handle the relentless bullying she received coming forward. I like to think I would have disclosed similar treatment from Scully, but like those who later did, I may have waited. We all wanted to believe we'd be brave, but being a teen is hard enough without death threats coming from classmates after being raped. I will certainly look forward to... this is a good review, and give it a 5 stars. Now we're reviewing the reviews, for the record. That's kind of what's happening here. We're reviewing the quality of these reviews. I'm going to do a proper review later. No, you're not. By the looks of things, no, you're not. Oh, wow. This has a ton of reviews.
This does deal with aftermath of rape, major trigger warning for this. I'm guessing the realistic resolution is that he gets off scot-free.
That's not really a twist.
That's
not a twist or anything.
Because the other person said realistic resolution.
Yeah, which implies that. Yeah,
that's what I'm guessing.
People have no faith in the criminal justice system. I swear. Look, I understand coming from a law background, it's flawed, but it's not imperfect. Or it might be imperfect, but it's not like terrible, honestly.
And not like the worst. I mean, it could be worse, obviously, yeah. But still, when it comes to like rape victims, it's not exactly skewed in their favor a lot of the time.
There's also quite a bit that's weak here. I found the writing to be fine, though not especially memorable. Likewise, I didn't find it as intense or raw as other books that we have that I've done this. It's also a very white book, and the characters who notes this in the book over and over feels like she's playing the role of a critical reader in stating it, and it doesn't feel authentic. I also felt that some of the reaction of students to what was going on to feel a little over the top. Today's teens are far more aware of their world than I felt this book gave many of them credit for. And perhaps I'd have let that slide much easier were we given more intense exploration of the school's culture. Absolutely worth reading, particularly for those who enjoyed books about small cultures and private schools, and for those who want to read more books with various angles towards rape culture. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this one's long.
So a white book, does that mean so a white book, that means that the
primarily white,
are
I think,
majority white?
Which, I mean, guys, okay.
That sounds like a boarding school.
Frankly, this is the thing that annoys me about a lot of the people pushing a lot of diversity and such. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that homogenous groups exist. I mean, it's not necessarily everywhere, but you get populations like, say, Norway. You're going to be hard pressed to find people of diverse colors there.
Yeah.
It's like
Now we are in America, which is a lot
true.
more of a
Yeah,
melting
that's
pot.
true. But then you also take
But-
into fact like wealth disparity and such like that among minorities.
Yes,
So in a
absolutely.
boarding school being primarily white, even with I think things that are starting to level out,
Yeah.
I still think it's going to be primarily white at this time of day.
Well, of course. Also, like, boarding schools are expensive,
Who
man.
wants a boarding school? Boarding schools are lame,
And-
man. Unless they're in
Yeah.
fantasy
Wait, were we
stories.
just
Unless they're in
saying-
fantasy
okay.
stories.
Yeah.
Because
there we go.
honestly, I would love to like be in a magic school somewhere. Like, not Hogwarts. Fuck Hogwarts. Hogwarts is terrible. That is like Hogwarts has like the worst OSHA violations. All right, I'm just going out on a limb there. Like, whoever wants to go to Hogwarts has a suicide, which literally the stairs change directions on you to the point where you can just fall right into a bottomless chasm. Who built that school? Where is OSHA or whatever the freaking version of OSHA for England is? Like, they'd have a field day with all those places. It's like how in Resident Evil 2's remake, the secret lab underground, the reason why it's a secret lab isn't because of any of the experiments going on. It's the fact that their walkways over a bottomless pit have a 2-foot high railing that you could easily trip over. All right, so this next one, Mandy,
this is by
and
Mandy
it's a very
Schneck.
fleshed out one, but it's a 3 stars out of 5. Let me start off this review by
Yeah.
saying that it may be the most disorganized review I've ever written, and give a huge trigger warning for rape, sexual assault. I'm writing this not caring about grammar or flowy writing or anything else, because I walked away from this book so ragey that I can't really put into appropriate words all the things I felt. Also, my reviews usually do not contain spoilers, but this one does, thank you, because it's the only way to accurately express my full range of emotions. If it turns out you love this format of review, let me know, because this is different from what I normally do. But I'm happy to change up my style for what you guys have been reading.
Are there groups of reviewers on this site? I never really thought about it because I don't visit Goodreads enough. But like, are there
Yeah.
reviewers that stand out above
Maybe.
the others here?
Maybe that'd be weird.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we need to
might be
roughly
something to
double
look
our
into.
numbers so we can get the watch rate up to 420. Then I will yell "Blaze it" on stream, and we will all be happy. So, Honor Code by Kirsten Burkhardt follows Sam, a 15-year-old girl who gets into an elite private school where behind closed doors she learns and experiences things she never expected. From having to line up naked and be ranked by upperclassmen to being forced to
Yikes.
join a sports team. Sam, is you sure this isn't college?
What's the sports
Join-
team? They haven't really
Sam
said what
isn't
the
sure
sports
she's
team
really
is.
ready to handle what's in store for her, but her desire to earn a scholarship to college keeps her motivated to tough it out. When she gets matched with the hot upperclassman she's been drooling over for the school mixer, she thinks that she's finally fitting in until that upperclassman takes advantage of her attraction to him and her naivety and rapes her when she went to him for help with schoolwork. How did that
jeez.
play out? I'm curious how that exactly played out.
Oh, I can imagine.
Wanting
how
to
it
keep the
played
school
out.
honor code
Ugh.
sacred, Sam seemingly tried hard to avoid exposing the incident or identifying herself or the prosecutor. The prosecutor is a person who prosecutes a crime. I'm guessing the identifying herself or the criminal. We'll call him the criminal. But she still fights her way through the seek justice.
Oh, hang on, I'm being knocked.
I'll keep reading this. My thoughts through the first 2/3 or so of the book were all positive. We needed more books about rape culture to bring these issues to light. This showed why girls don't come forward when they've been sexually assaulted, and details all the fallout that happens when they finally do. Yes! I thought. This book is everything. Until the plot twist happens that had me raging until the very last page. And I'm still raging as evidenced by this review. Sam didn't actually get raped. It was her roommate Garci that went through the...
And my brother just wanted to know if I wanted Chick-fil-A. That's my stance on Chick-fil-A. I will never pay money for it, but if someone asks me if I want it, I'm not going to say no.
Okay, so that's the twist. The twist is that Sam didn't actually get raped. It was her roommate Gracie that went through the traumatic incident, and Sam, in some deranged quest to help
Wait.
her decide to make the story her own and go public with it, yes,
Wait.
yes, the
what?
boy who raped... This is the reason this reviewer is angry. The boy who raped Gracie attempted to rape Sam too, but she was able to escape before anything happened. I mean, Stop. That's still sexual assault.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute.
Dude,
Okay.
okay, wait, don't. This made me so angry. Do not take someone's sexual assault experience and make it your own. You literally just said he attempted to rape her too. Attempted.
Okay, but the difference between the two is that his dick
Yes,
didn't
but
make
it's still
it in.
sexual assault.
Oh no, it
But, like-
absolutely is. But I think she says I think the other one ended up being worse, and Sam kind of
I
took
guess.
over.
I don't care if you
that
want to
story.
help them. I don't care if you're trying to expose someone to make them seek justice. Rape is such a terribly and deeply personal occurrence that if the person who experienced it doesn't want to pressure reporting, exposing it, or do anything about it, that's their decision, not yours. There is so much here that is just so fucked up.
Well, that
I mean,
part
I understand that, but
but
at the same time, we should always encourage people to tell the truth, guys. If something, okay, yes,
you absolutely should. I mean, granted, the culture we live in, obviously, it's gonna be fucked. But yeah, absolutely go.
Yeah.
With it anyway.
Guys, if something happens to you, go forward with it. At the very least, get it on the record. So when the more evidence comes
Yeah.
out further down the line, you can say definitively, yes, this happened. You don't have to have anyone saying, no, that never happened. You can say, look, I reported it when it happened. So that's one of the most important things when it comes to today's day and age. You need to report it when it happens, just so that when you're finally comfortable coming forward about it, you can say, look, I made the report then, I'm ready to go forward now.
Yeah, like a friend of mine had this happen. She reported it at the time, so if it ever comes up, then that's gonna happen.
Just please take care of yourselves, people, please, and keep yourselves safe.
Yeah.
I recommend a
Yeah,
Walther
wait.
P99. Very effective at deterring potential rapists. Just saying.
Yeah.
Also, don't drink.
Swift kick to the nuts.
Also,
Swift kick to the nuts
don't
also
drink
works.
unattended drinks. Just saying.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
All right,
just
so
in general.
please come forward with your own experience of how he attempted to rape you and make him face justice for that, but do not masquerade. But what if she's a vampire?
Okay, wait. So is this book told in first person or third person?
I think maybe first person.
Okay, because that just raises
further questions. Now, I do think this book has some great themes, exposing corruption in a private schools, showing how girls are treated cruelly after coming forward with this type of information, and how rich white male privilege is unfortunately alive and well today, are all things that is important to address. And it did all these things extremely well.
Yeah.
That being said, I just couldn't wrap my head around what Sam did and why this is okay. I'm not sure if it was her 15-year-old mind and care for a friend that made her think it was a good idea, or she just wanted the spotlight, but this does not sit right with me. And judging by the Goodreads reviews, I'm not the only one that thinks this. Or I know, I'm the only one that thinks this. Okay. I've struggled a lot with my ratings for this book because with the false rape report really set me off. Sorry, someone just quoted me there. I think I tried successfully to shine a light on the overall rape culture issues our society faces today. I originally wanted to rate it as 2 stars, but I think I'm going to bump it up because despite the problematic plot twist, the message was good and the writing was fantastic, and I overall did really enjoy it. 3 out of 5.
I'm actually kind of on the one hand, I want to commend her for writing something so deeply fucked up like that. But on the other hand, I also want to egg her car.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which one I should go with.
So, I mean, overall, it looks like we didn't get anything lower than a 3, I don't think. Oh, there's a 1-star review. Oh, shit. Okay, let's read the 1-star review. There are 2 1-star reviews. We'll move on after this.
Okay, I'm scrolling.
It's
I'm
CR and
Oh,
Kate.
here's one. Okay.
So, CR, my review, I really
I'm
wanted
looking
to
at
like
it.
this one, but early on, I just didn't care about the characters. The writing was not the best, and I have read, and it was very full of things that really just didn't need. I wish the story would have gotten started a lot faster than it did. I believe that might have to lead me to like the book more. I will say that the things this book covered did not sound very authentic, and things during the court part just really didn't work for me at all. The twist at the end I saw coming a mile away. Oh, so there's a court section. I might have to read this book.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious.
If someone can get me a free copy of this, I mean, maybe.
I probably would. I mean, how much
probably
is it?
$8.
It's
Oh, damn.
$4.19
How long
in the
is
Kindle
it?
store. All right, you know what? It is
Jesus
312
Christ!
pages.
$4 for 312
Yeah.
pages? Jesus.
That's
a
a
damn
steal.
steal.
Shit. That's a really good.
The twist at the
that's
end,
a really good deal.
I
Fuck.
saw it coming a mile away, and unlike the other book of its kind, it
here it
just
is.
felt like it was over the top in parts, not of others. Okay, so the second one is Katie. This book deals with issues that are important in today's world and have come up a lot recently. However, I didn't like the way this book was written. While I'm a sucker for books about boarding schools and or summer camps, this portrayed a school in a bad light. Yes, I understand that many of these elite private schools have problems like this, meaning rape, but I didn't actually feel bad for Sam or Gracie. Frankly, it made it hard to care about anything that happened. I feel bad for thinking that, like I said, because of the subject matter, but it's hard to care. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, caring about the plot is one of those weird things to talk about because it does kind of come down to your person. Like, are you somebody who can be?
Well, I was
the
going to
story or
do a
not?
video at some point soon on the 3-point paradigm of writing a character, which is the author's view of the character, the audience's view of the character, and the character themselves, which is an independent entity
Right.
of those two, which is kind of a weird thing to wrap your head around if you're not a writer.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear that video.
The problem is
Yeah,
I have
it's
so many
yeah.
scattered thoughts on it. I can't really compile a coherent through line.
It's a tough like thing to kind of really get down on paper.
So we've got some mixed reviews coming out of Honor Code, but overall seemingly positive.
So yeah, like okay, so we see she's already trying to cover some very heavy topics to varying degrees of
And
success.
she my theory is that like
for the most part,
the other author was like sort of her guide, her like babysitter, like just sort of like kind of pushing her along the way she needed to kind of just culture her career and get some books out there. But I'm thinking that maybe she needed a little longer of that to gestate some of the ideas. All right, I'm going to take a brief break here. We'll be right back, people. Everyone stay tuned. I'm going to get a drink and...
oh, yeah, I should probably get a drink while I'm at it as well, yeah.
We shall return shortly.
All right, be back.
Well, I'm back. I don't know about Tom. Nope, still no Tom. All right. I'll come back on screen. Windows stream. Tom. Good. Oh, damn. So we just got a $10 super chat from Blade Charge, or a donation from...
Oh, shit, they're Attack on Titan spoilers.
Yeah, we just... Is it going to switch over?
Oh, yeah, I saw it. I saw the image for that, William.
Is it not changing back? Why is it not changing back?
I still say that be right. I still
Yeah,
say that be
why
right
is it not
back
changing back?
thing.
It should be changing back soon. There we go. All right.
don't
That's
know.
really delayed. Blade Charge donated $10, saying, so he has, I'm guessing she has a messed up view on rape. Is it safe to say that the males in RWBY may get put under the bus in Volume 7 as well? I don't know yet. We'll get to reading Castle of Lies reviews, which are a lot more divisive. Okay. So Castle of Lives. Here's the description. Thelia Thelia isn't in line to inherit the crown, but she's been raised to take power however she can. She's been friends with Princess Corrine her whole life, and she's scheming to marry Baeld, the heir to the throne. But her plans must change when an army of elves invade the kingdom. Thalia, her cousin Parzival, and Corrine become trapped in the castle. An elf warrior, Sapphire, may be Thalia's only hope of escape, but Sapphire has plans of their own. Meanwhile, an ancient magic is awakening within the castle, with the power to destroy the whole kingdom. Can Thalia find a way to protect her future and her life? Sounds exciting. Well, I'm going to go to her website, because she had an interesting description. I remember someone describing it as let me just look it up. Kiersey Burke.
Well, the top review is a 2-star review. So
yeah, we'll get to that just shortly.
Yeah.
Castle of Lies is like a CW show crashing into into fantasy in the best way. Wonderful, original, instantly captivating, and truly genre redefining. So let's see more about this.
Wait, a CW show crashing into fantasy? But CW does fantasy all the fucking.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. There was one that described it as Game of Thrones.
That's half their shtick.
Let me see if it's on Discord.
Is fucking
briefly
fantasy.
Discord. I think it's in Ruby discussion.
CW show crashing into fantasy. They do fantasy all the time. I mean, a lot of it's supernatural fantasy, but it's still fucking fantasy.
I can't find it, but there was one that described it like Game of Thrones meets drama stuff. I can't describe it. Anyway, let's get on to these because these are fun. Very first review, number 1, is 2 stars. And this is where we start seeing some of the cracks in all this.
The problems.
I received a copy of this book from NetGallery in exchange for an honest review. Book trigger warnings. Mentions and threats of rape, violence, disfigurements, I think.
Is that supposed to be disfiguration?
Disfigurism? Something like that? I don't know. Anti-ace aro sex work content, incest, alcoholism, and generally a lot of drinking and explicit sex. Now, I'm going to stop here and preface this. If any of you have read my collection of short stories, Forged Within Flames, you might understand that I have gone into some uncomfortable territory with sexual relationships. Quite primarily that the first story opens up with, actually the first 2 or 3 stories, opens up with underage characters having sexual relationships with each other. I chose to do that as an exploration of kids getting into relationships, have premarital sex, and that can sometimes be okay and sometimes be unhealthy. And I wanted to explore that dynamic. Meanwhile, we're about to get into some wacky shit with Castle of Lies.
I mean, the FCC.
They haven't come after me yet. So, I think I did it tastefully enough. I was trying to be very careful with it. It doesn't sound like this one does. I asked for it.
My characters are all
continuing. I asked for it because YA Castle intrigues me with queer teenagers sounding amazing. I was told one of the characters was demisexual, Thalia, so I was super excited to see how that play out. That means you can you only have sex with someone when you fall in love with them.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know all the terms and definitions.
Yeah, that's one of my key problems with the whole dynamic, but I'm not going to get into that now.
I don't mind it. I just don't read
that's
all
fair.
Of them because there's a lot.
Unfortunately, this book doesn't deliver on pretty much everything. It's not awful, you say as you give it a 2-star review, but there was really little to keep me interested. Court intrigues here are synonymous with petty teenage romance plots, and it's hard to really dig these characters when they have so little depth. They develop a bit, especially Baeld, who grows from the most bland love interest into an actual person, but that's it. I guess if Castle of Lies was just very standard fantasy tropes mixed with underdeveloped characters, I might have given it 3 stars. I wish that was it, though, but apart from the polyamory, so much of the representation within Castle of Lies is, let's go with lackluster. The non-binary character is, of course, the non-human one, the elf. Parsifal hits so many promiscuous bisexual flags, it's not even funny, and he's only beautiful when he sees past his disfigurement. Okay, so it's like, I guess, disfigure phobia, or whatever they were trying to say earlier. The elves as a whole are exotified constantly and frequently felt like native characters. Then there's Thalia, the demisexual character. I'll keep this short. The ace was, of course, the
longest paragraph.
Yeah,
she says she'll keep it short.
The ace was, of course, the most manipulative of them and was described as cold and heartless by others. Yikes. In the first half of the novel, Thalia is established as generally sex-averse person, with the exception of Baron, with whom she develops an attraction. It's a big deal that he was the one that she felt comfortable kissing. That was all fine, but the characterization flies out the window to ham-fist sexual encounters with Sapphire first, a kiss, then Parsifal, daily sex for comfort, with her cousin. Thalia never reflects.
Medieval fantasy.
Yeah, honestly, like the incest tag, like even with cousins, it's like, so long as you don't do it frequently enough, your genetics are gonna be fine.
Didn't one of Jane Austen's books have one of the characters have a thing for their cousin?
I think so. It's only like the last 30 or 40 years that's really become taboo.
Yeah.
Thalia never reflects on how different this is from her previous experiences, never questions anything, and is essentially like she never previously described as anything close to demisexual.
Side note: we're not advocating boning your cousin. We should make that clear now. We're not advocating boning your
Although
cousin.
if they are hot, no. I'm kidding. Please do not commit incest, or if you do, at least don't do it within 2 generations.
Jesus Christ.
It was incredibly off. So, never questions anything. It's essentially like she was never previously described as anything close to demisexual or sex-averse. It was incredibly off-putting to have her identity vanish like this. It read like demisexual people just become allosexual, and
I've never heard of that one.
Pansexual would probably be more accurate there. And like sex averseness or sex repulsion are only present when sexual attraction is absent. While I can imagine several stories where this thing could be respectfully explored, Castle of Lies unfolds without any introspection except perhaps that Thalia is a better person now that she loves and has sex. Good message there. Sarcasm. Overall, Castle of Lies was a bust on all accounts for me, and I'm really disappointed in all the lost potential.
Yeah.
All right. That's... Woo! Woo!
This next one.
All right, you want to start reading some of these? Because my tongue is drying out.
So, all right. So, Ashley, Library in the Country, added it DNF at 9%. I just can't. This is the first book I've DNF'd in years. So, hey, it gets that award. Typically, I'll strive to stick through with them, but this one was just so over the top and modern sounding. Review copy provided by the publisher via NetGalley.
For the record, for those who aren't in the know, DNF means did not finish.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that until I started looking at the site, and I'm like, oh, that's what it means. All right, take over the next 2 or 3, because that was a long one I covered.
Yeah, all right. So next up we have Elizabeth with a 2-star rating. I received a free arc of this from NetGalley. A free arc?
No, I think she got like an arc of the story from NetGalley.
Oh, so she didn't get the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It sounded very intriguing, but ultimately I was very disappointed with the directions this book went. And it just wasn't really that great in general either. Honestly, I'd probably rate this 1.5 out of 5 stars if I could. The plot synopsis sounds so intriguing, but don't expect any legitimate court intrigue. Nope, in this story, the plot is ham-fisted romance with some half-hearted, pedestrian-level political scheming and a dash of basic fantasy tropes. Let's get into some of the basics. The characters, they're just not well developed. It's only been a few days and I can barely remember most of their names. I mean, I've only been a few minutes and I don't even remember all their names. And there's too many of them and too many POVs. Oh, okay. To have enough time to dig into all of them. Some of the characters are hardly developed at all. The 4 POVs we see are Thalia, cousin of the Princess Corinne, Parsifal, Thalia's cousin, not related to Corinne, Baled, Corinne's love interest-ish, and Sapphire, a non-binary elf. Thalia is scheming, but secretly has a good heart. And I'm going to say, even though it's not in quotes, it has like little asterisks around it, so I'm just going to say it is quotes. So I'm going to put it in quotes. Parsifal is a mouthy cad. Baled is basic bland male love interest. Trademark.
Wow, you can feel the sarcasm in this. I think you should have read that as, but secretly has a good heart.
Yeah. And Sapphire is warrior conflicted between their feelings for duty and the humans they meet. And that's it. They're never developed beyond that. Forget about Kareen. She ends up being possibly the worst person, but we never see her POV, and her actions are just never explained at all. There's some minor characters like the King, Thelia's brother, Null, Kareen's other
interest.
ally. Okay. But they're completely forgettable. They don't contribute anything. All right, so that's the characters. So
damn, that was just excoriating, man.
Yeah, that's just characters. The representation. So you've got Parsifal, who's bisexual and runs afoul of the depraved bisexual trope because sure, why not? Wait, what's
basically it means that
trope?
bisexuals are just horny bastards.
Well, I mean, all the bisexuals
Oh
are,
God! So. Well, I mean, I can't speak to your personal experience, but okay.
Hey, I don't mean it in a bad way, I'll tell you what. And then you've got Sapphire, who is non-binary. Their gender identity is explored a tiny bit in the beginning, but that's all. Maybe possibly Thelia is bi/pan, but that's never touched upon at all in any regard. Let's see. The relationships. Oh boy. That's how that opens up. Kareen Byled is as boring as you can get. Kareen Null is never explained, never expanded upon, and I honestly don't know why this relationship exists other than to show how good and pure Byled is, and how Kareen is just a bitch for playing with his feelings. And then there's Thelia/Parsifal and Sapphire. Look, I don't like poly relationships in fiction. I just don't. I can't relate, and I've only ever seen it done once in a way that didn't seem forced. Parsifal has been in love with Thelia since forever, but Thelia isn't interested at all until 2/3 of the way through the book she decides Parsifal is her true love. And of course they have fantastic chemistry and everything is magical, and that's in parentheses. Plus there's the factor of Sapphire, who has insta-love with Parsifal, though the author did set up the feelings between Sapphire and Thelia. Don't worry, though. Thelia/Parsifal and Sapphire is all hand-waved with the explanation that it's all the magic, in quotes, that's making them attracted to each other. Never mind that no one else is affected by all this. We're just supposed to expect that feelings can be changed/turned on with the flip of a switch.
Oh, damn.
The writing. It's fine from a technical standpoint. I feel like seeing medievalish characters saying mom and dad/daddy sounds weird, especially since the characters aren't children. Just felt out of place.
I remember reading another one like that, too.
Yeah, the overall plot, I mean, nothing really happens. Thelia wants to rule the kingdom, so she tries her darndest to make it happen. But her plans are spoiled by the elves attacking because there's too much magic in the human world. The how or why of this is never explained. So the king decides to send Byled and future son-in-law Null to go fight the elves. But of course Null wants to kill Byled because I don't know why, it's never explained. The elves successfully attack, they capture the kingdom, take everyone prisoner. Yeah, we've seen this all before. The final verdict. There's nothing here in this book that's new or groundbreaking. The LGBTQ representation is questionable. The characters aren't fleshed out or particularly likable. Motives are never developed in any natural way, if at all. And the plot is just standard paint-by-the-numbers high fantasy fare. It's a shame because I do think some of the concepts introduced are interesting, like the goddess and her priestess. Okay, where'd they come from? But of course, none of that is ever explained upon or explained at all. This sounds like an interesting story, but nothing interesting ever happens. I see why they hired her for
God,
movie.
all right. Oh, damn, that was just excoriating, man. Holy shit.
Bad.
Why did you rate a 2-star?
Game over, man.
Why do you
Game
rate a
over.
1-star? Is it just a book with blank pages? Actually, I would probably, by the sounds of it, I'd rate a book with blank pages better than this. Then I can at least use it for something. See, Kaya, 3 stars. This author shows a lot of promise. This is why they hired her. This right here, I sent that to Fat Man. Like, I zoomed in on this, and I'm like, oh God, no, not again, not again. Don't make the same mistake I did.
Yeah,
This author shows
Shit.
a lot of promise.
I know
The
that
idea
one.
for this is so unique, and I was shocked by a few of the plot twists. However, while I was surprised by a few, most of the twists left something to be desired. The ending was a bit predictable, which was rather disappointing. That said, I was so interested, I read this one in one sitting. How many? It's like 300 pages, isn't it? Or no,
I mean, I've gotten through 300-page books in a
God,
day.
you guys read
I mean,
fucking fast.
it's
I
doable.
guess maybe I just
I'm a
maybe I
very
just don't have
fast
the time
reader.
on my hands to read through it.
I like inhale literature.
Saga of Tanya the Evil, actually really good. Highly recommend the novel, the books. So if you ever want to pick
Yeah.
that up, yeah, go read a good book. Saga of Tanya the Evil. That series is great. So that said, I was so interested. Blah, 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 blah. I was thinking that the character development could have been done a bit better. I enjoyed a lot of the characters themselves, but never really felt any connection. I love this world. It was amazing, but the characters didn't quite fit. I haven't read many books like this, but it shares a tiny bit of similarities to the Three Dark Crowns. I received in... I have no idea.
What's that?
All right. Next one, art provided by NetGalley in exchange for an honest review. I'm always looking for new books to read, ones with ideas and concepts no one has ever thought before. What?
I'm just looking for a good story.
As soon as I heard about the elven detail of the elven detail of this book, I knew definitively I wanted to read it. However, as much as I wanted this to like this book, it just wasn't for me. I was extremely confused with where the story was going, and the multiple POVs made it difficult for me to grasp onto the idea of what the plot was. I had mixed feelings about the romance and the characters, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked. 2.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay. Let's see. I found it a bit hard to remember all the names and the relationships between the characters. The plot was nice, fantasy, romance. Thank you, NetGalley, for this.
Read the
book.
next one too. I'll read the one after that.
Let's see. I received a copy. So from Petra, I'm assuming not the Petra from Attack on Titan who ended up bent against a tree. I received a copy of this book from NetGalley in exchange for an honest review. After months of putting it off, I finally sat down to write this review. Oh, always a good sign. First, let me say how excited I was about this one. I started reading it on the same day I was approved, and at first I thought this would be my new favorite book. It had all the things I love: manipulative characters, complicated relationships, court intrigues, and then it becomes sappy love story, and not an interesting one. I cringed so hard while reading scenes that were supposed to be erotic, and I found that I really didn't care about anyone except maybe Thelia, and she just became more and more boring. Now, this sounds like I hated the book, but all in all, I think it was a solid read, and I would definitely try something else by this author. If you like horses, I have some great recommendations for you. I wouldn't recommend it to my friends, but at the same time, I'm not disappointed that I read it. I'm only disappointed that it seemed so promising and different that it didn't work out for me. Oh, God. The red flags.
And now we get to the one that...
They're waving so many red flags that they might as well be, like, speaking in... Oh, what's that line?
What?
From the
Oh,
Space Guru.
she uses her magnet powers to collect more death flags.
Yeah, no, she has so many death flags. She might as well be speaking in.
I can't remember what
is
that's
it?
called. Parsifor? Is that something
Yeah.
like that?
Maybe. I liked Petra too, Gabriel. I know. Dad.
So this next one by Zoe is the reason why this stream is happening.
Okay, hang on.
I received a copy from NetGalley
Zoe, okay.
in exchange for an honest review. Castle of Lies is a young adult. In a lot of ways, Castle of Lies unexpected even surprised me, but unfortunately, I found a lot of the flaws, blah, blah, blah. I didn't like it. CW. Content warning, I guess. Incest, abuse, violence, gore, questionable LGBTQ plus rep. I don't no idea what the hell this little tag at the end is. PSEP, whatever. Setting plot.
I'm assuming September, but like I don't.
But this review was posted in December, so.
The story seemed to want to go so many places at once. On one hand, this is a politically intriguing story. The Holy Kingdom is ruled by a drunkard king who basically bankrupted the whole country. His daughter, Corinne, is of marriageable age, but his ward, Baeld, has been promised to the throne. Thelia is from a family of nobles, but she grew up alongside Princess Corinne. Thelia was raised to be a warrior and conspired by her mother, believing that the one purpose in her life is to become queen. Baeld seems the perfect path to the throne. But everything gets thrown into chaos when the king reveals he has promised Corinne's hand to a southern lord to secure their alliance. On the other hand, we have the element of the elves and the magic. Sapphire is an elf recently promoted to an elite elven fighting group. Their mission is to invade the Holy Kingdom and gain control over an out-of-the-control wellspring of magic that the humans are completely unaware of. These seems like good plot points. Once the elves make it to the Holy Kingdom, the storyline of who will be king and queen is largely forgotten about, and a few major questions I had were left unanswered. One of which was about the magic problem in the Holy Kingdom. Why was all the magic overflowing? Oh, they don't even address that? Like the whole reason the elves invade? Jesus. Oh,
Jesus.
no. Oh no. Who are the Union?
Oh,
Oh no.
Oh, fuck. They're gonna get her on Genlock after Volume
Oh,
7's
Christ.
done.
That's a Michael B. Jordan personally picked her out, didn't he? No, I'm kidding. One of the things was about the magic problem in the Holy Kingdom. Why was the magic overflowing? Additionally, Corine's engagement to the Southern Lord is a plot point that is completely abandoned despite the many unanswered questions and contradictions there were. Characters. The characters in the story have very mixed feelings about. Honestly, this reads a lot like a messed up fantasy version of Love Island. All the characters are a little bit trashy and not in a way that's wholly entertaining. Because of the political conspiring, none of them really trust each other. Towards the end of the story, they begin to build some trust, but it wasn't quite enough to make up for the rest. Thelia. The main character and one of the POV characters. She definitely fits this badass tough girl fantasy trope. She was trained in martial arts by her mother, but she was also abused by her mother and other members of her family. Despite that, her mother's training defines her life, and she strives to become queen one day. These are just, like, I think, describing the characters. I don't think there's any opinion in here. Oh, no, there is opinion in here. The princess, Corine, and Thelia grew up together and are practically sisters, but when the story starts, Thelia absolutely hates her guts because of an unspeakable thing Corine did to Thelia. I honestly thought Corine was the most pointless character of all the characters. She manipulates and uses people the most, but she also sees the least development, and a lot of what she does is left without motivation or explanation.
What was the
Yeah, that was a good
unspeakable
question.
thing? What was the unspeakable thing?
She ate her gummy bears.
You bitch.
Oh, good. Bailed, which Bailed is such a weird name to say.
It's like, is it
Bailed? Maybe it's Bailed?
I've been saying
Okay,
it Bailed,
Bailed. We'll go with Bailed. But Bailed, I mean,
Yeah. No one expects the Union Inquisition.
originally, from a kingdom to the north, Baeled's parents were emissaries to the Holy Kingdom. Well, when they died, the king took Baeled under his wing as his ward. Because of the king's favor towards Baeled, he has been promised to inherit the throne. Baeled grew up with Thelia and Corine, and is madly in love with Corine. Honestly, Baeled was the most clueless of all the characters. He wasn't my least favorite, but I really wanted to slap him at times. He is entirely unaware of the way Corline and Thelia are manipulating him. Or manipulate him. Parsifal is from a family of nobles left bankrupt by the king's spending. Parsifal is described as disfigured and uses a sense of humor about his own looks to get his way with others in court. Parsifal struck me as a little bit as a cheap Tyrion knockoff. He is sexually wanton, drinks too much, and makes people laugh. He also deals in secrets and uses people's misconceptions about him to his advantage. Of all the characters, I thought Parsifal was the most interesting and sees the most development through the story. Interesting, kind of a Tyrion knockoff, but that maybe worked in his favor. Sapphire, an elf, and one of the elvish POV characters. Sapphire is non-binary. The elves get the choice to choose a gender at a certain age, and Sapphire never really felt completely right as a man or a woman. See, that's an interesting concept. I thought this was interesting as a concept that it wasn't explored enough. Of all the elves, Sapphire is the most genuine and compassionate, but at some points their naivety got on my nerves. The relationship with Thelia and Parsifal is a key part of the story.
It seems like the dudes are all like really naive and the chicks are all like thirsty bitches.
I mean, honestly, not a bad place to live in then.
I mean, I guess you could say it's like
Yeah.
real life.
Oh,
but-
hey man, dude.
I know.
I do not know that many thirsty girls. Dashi doesn't count. She counts for multiple, but she doesn't count.
No, I'm not even. I didn't even think of Dashi until you mentioned her.
How do you not think of Dashi when it comes down to thirst?
Because I'm thinking of people that I know in my personal life.
Romance. Castle of Lives makes a genuine attempt at LGBTQ representation, which we definitely need more of in high fantasy. I could debate that, but we'll continue. However, I don't.
Well, it depends.
I am a stickler for shoehorning. I hate shoehorning. However, I don't think it was completely handled the right way. I'm not part of the LGBTQ plus community, however, so please correct me if I'm wrong about any of this. I'm gonna comment out on this. It doesn't matter what group you're a part of. If it ruins the story, it ruins the story. Feel free to comment on it. There's a bi character, a non-binary character, and a polyamorous relationship. The bi character, unfortunately, is written into the stereotype of bi people being promiscuous or perverse. They don't really change this problem. They don't really challenge this problem in the story. As for the polyamorous relationship, there's just a huge part of it that really bothered me, and I can't really explain what without spoiling the story. Sapphire is a non-binary character, and I found the concept of this really interesting. However, it isn't really developed in the story. The author definitely could have used this character as a platform. I think that opportunity was missed. That actually sounds like a blessing in disguise, but that's personally me. Moving away from the LGBTQ aspect, there was a particular romance in the story that I found really problematic. Two of the characters that get involved with each other are cousins. Okay, I guess you could argue that in the medieval setting, getting involved with your cousin wasn't so strange. However, we are in 2018, so do we really need to be writing fantasy stories where cousins love each other? I was also disappointed because without the aspect of a character being cousins, this romance would have been one of the highlights of the story for me.
I mean, the story's not set in 2018, though.
Look, if I wanted to write a story set in the 1910s and write about cousins falling in love, that's still above board. Like, I can do that. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Hell, some of the most classic romance novels out there are like Jane Eyre and such, where like during that time period.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, Jane Austen, I think, had a character.
If you look at Gone with the Wind, marrying cousins was pretty regular. Okay. Here we go, people. This is the big one. Writing. The writing was a big miss for me. There was a lot of potential, but some seriously heavy editing was needed. One of the major problems was the dialogue. In some parts, it's just so cheesy and cringeworthy. One of the things I hated most was the fact that the characters referred to their parents as mommy, mom, or dad, daddy. Maybe it's very nitpicky of me, but it just felt so wrong in the setting. I sit across from daddy, who ignores me even though he hasn't seen me all week. But these are adult kids. Yeah, these are like adult, like they are teenagers or whatever. I don't know. There's also some really bizarre and at times disgusting analogies for certain situations. One example is that when one character kisses another, making someone else jealous. The character who kissed uses this sentence to describe their guilt. I am the shit and piss overflowing in the poop garden. Why? Why would you ever describe something in those terms? Ever!
How old is this author? How old is this author?
She's apparently a middle-aged adult by the looks of her images.
Shit, that's something you'd write when you were like 12.
How old are these characters supposed to be?
I don't know.
Like, okay, so the poop garden is the castle sewer system. I get that. All the same, say sewer! Sewer! Why would you not call it a sewer?
I don't know. I'm rocking back and forth. I don't know.
This is the line that made me want to do this video, because why? Why? Holy shit! This is one of the most disgusting phrases I have ever seen in my goddamn life! And I cannot believe that this writer is now on a show that I love!
Oh god, she did something unthinkable. She made the prose of Twilight look decent.
Okay, so continuing this review. Like, okay, is this visual necessary? There were numerous instances of very weird analogies like this, and I don't understand their purpose. Are we supposed to laugh? Supposed to feel disgusted? I wasn't sure whether the author wanted us to take the story seriously in instances like this.
Quentin Tarantino wishes she had this good dialogue.
At other times, the vivid descriptions worked really well, such as the instance in the beginning where Thelia's hatred for Corinne is being established for the reader. Corinne isn't made of queen material, never has been. In illustrating my point, she can't even hold her liquor. She worms across her bed in her silk nightgown, spilling wine across the blankets. It's all right.
That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
The description makes me feel kind of gross, but in a good way because Corinne is so miserable. Okay, I can understand that.
Sounds like all these characters are miserable.
I guess it's the trick to writing gritty fantasy. Just make everyone miserable. Don't have a lick of happiness in there.
Fuck that, man. I'm gonna have happy characters galore.
I think the story had some solid bones, but yeah, that's had some bones at least. But covering that are a lot of flaws. It's just unfortunate it wasn't edited a little better. I liked the political intrigue. I liked the magic. Heck, I even liked how miserable and trashy the characters were. Some of the characters did see some decent development throughout the story, which I appreciate too. Unfortunately, the things I liked just were not enough to outweigh what I didn't. I don't know if I would continue the series, but I would see myself getting the author to try in the future.
Okay.
Well, geared up for the next 2.
So,
Because holy shit.
yeah. Oh, we got another DNF
Well,
here
Tara's
at 12%. Okay. I also got food waiting, so we'll speed through what we can, but I don't think it's gonna.
Is the food here? Can you just bring it in? Just
Actually,
eat
that's a
on
good
stream.
question. Hang on, I'll be right back. Yeah, you keep going. I'll be right back.
All right, so I'll read Tara's then. I wanted to enjoy this based on the description. It sounded good, but for me, it just didn't do it. I couldn't connect with the characters, found them unlikable, and didn't really care about what happened to them. It's confusing at times, and I think the characters were confused generally. Sadly, not for me. Couldn't hold my interest. Thanks to NetGalley and the publisher for a free copy and an honest opinion. You know, some of these 2 stars are just giving me the feeling they're doing it for the opinion. You know, for the free color. Like, if they didn't get it for free, they would not be giving it 2 stars. This is. I have never seen a comments this train wrecky when it comes to a novel. I mean, honestly, even if you didn't like Twilight, there are things you can say nice about the novel. Like, there are some interesting things in the novels you can say about it. Like, I know there's a section in one of the novels, and I know this because I was watching The Book Was Better with Kaiser Rogue, is that his name? But he does The Book Was Better, and he was talking about a part in Twilight, in one of the Twilight novels, where Edward disappears, and then you have to flip through several pages that just list the months as Bella, or as Belle, whatever her name was. I can't remember what her name was. I'm talking about Twilight and how even that had positives.
Oh yeah, no, I
remember in one of the books. I remember hearing in one of the books. Her name was Belle, right? Or is it Bella or Bella? Bella. Edward leaves Bella, and there's an entire section where she's like pining for him, and she like months pass, and in the book apparently it's just blank pages with just the months written on them as you flip through. That's really clever. That's really good.
I mentioned this before, but years ago I did a series where I read each book chapter to chapter. So I essentially have my PhD in dissecting how shit that series is. But yeah, it definitely had some positives to it.
Well, you're next up. I've already read Tara. You read Harker. Let me use the restroom.
All right, let's take a look. Harker. That was a, let's see, 1-star DNF at 12%. Oh, shit. So let's see. Castle Intrigue has a certain draw that would make me want to pick up a book. Castle Lies has a promising plot description, and one might think that they would be in it for, as said, an intriguing story of those without power rising up to take it. Unfortunately, what I found were petty, childish machinations, coupled with writing that was dull enough to make me never want to pick this book up again. At least she didn't say it didn't want me to never pick a book up again. This book was not to my taste. It was not enjoyable to read. The writing did not pull me in, and I could not connect with a single character. There was no one that I wanted to know more about, nor a plot thread to grab onto if this indeed turned out to be a plot-based story rather than a character-driven one. Some are, and that's what it is. The characters are exceedingly childish, from the way they spoke to the way they acted. It wasn't the fact that they were in their teens and acting appropriately to that age group, but that they seemed to be absurdly foolish even then. Thalia, the main character especially, had some notions that were painful to read about. She'd go through the things her mother had taught her in order to survive in a world where women were seen as lesser, such as how to cripple a man without messing up my brain. Really?
Any gems?
Jesus. Then in the next moment make sweeping assumptions about how the only thing necessary to change the whole toxic structure of society was her becoming queen. It was baffling to me she would be built up as having some semblance of preparedness for the world around her, but such a lack of clarity regarding real-world politics. Whatever political intrigue was hinted at by the premise of this book did not end up written well. The political intrigue read like children playing at politics. Like I said earlier, I guess that the main characters are teens, but their supposed machinations made them read much younger and made it that much harder to take things seriously. There were also some... Ow, what the... I just hit my thumb. There were also some choices in setup that had me staring at the page, such as the elves live on magic. That seemed to literally be the name of their land, their island / country / whatever you want to call it. Wait, really? It was called magic? Like,
don't
what?
worry, baby. I'm gonna
on...
take you to a magical place.
And the humans lived on Kingdom. Add to that modern linguistic choices such as dad, daddy, and mom. Man, they're really focusing on
it is weird. It's weird. I mean,
it is weird.
Admittedly, I call my mom, but like...
Well, yeah, but we also...
Modern times, yeah. So it's
times.
like father, mother, mama,
yeah.
papa. More bread, please.
Yeah.
Could I have some more porridge?
All right, which took me out of the supposed fantasy setting, and the crafting of this world felt overly simplistic and did nothing to endear me. I couldn't get much further in this book because, for my part, it was incredibly dull to read. I wouldn't recommend it based on the writing style alone, much less the detractions I mentioned above, but I didn't notice, and this book really comes down the line. I'm disappointed because castle intrigue, magic, and teens plotting better destinies could have been truly epic.
And receive this copy. That is... so how bad... I missed the first part of that. How bad was this? Pretty bad? It's a 1 star, so I imagine pretty bad.
Mostly. The characters are really petty and childish. Couldn't relate to any of them. No plot threads you really wanted to know about.
That is... Ooh, dude, that is... This is such a bad sign. Okay, Nia, Shades of Paper.
I mean, that other book was at least had some
redeemable aspects to it, but this one is sounding like pretty bad. Nia, Shades of Paper. Yeah. Oh my god, if we cut back to the modern day in RWBY, and like suddenly Yang just says, "Oh, you mean my mommy?" I am going to laugh my ass off. like, oh yeah, Raven. We fought Raven like two volumes ago, and she's like, "Oh, my mommy." Can you just imagine that? Like Barbara saying, "Oh God!" All right, so let's see. You can find this review and others on my blog, Shades of Paper. Quote: I've been waiting for these words since the spring when she buried that dagger in my back and she ruined my one chance at happiness. I admit, I was pretty intrigued to read this book because of the premise sounded something quite different from what I had been reading lately in fantasy. And I heard it was queer, so I had high hopes and went with pretty high expectations. And I have to say my experience reading this novel was one of the weirdest ones I've had in a long time. Oh, that's always a good sign. And overall, I was pretty disappointed with how everything was handled. It started off pretty confusing, and it took me a while to understand what was going on. Though I think the concept of the story had potential, I didn't like the outcome, and I feel like it needs a lot more editing. I felt quite overwhelmed the first few chapters because there was a lot of info dump thrown at us, but as I kept reading the book, I was expecting to see more things, and I found everything super lineal? Lineal? What's lineal? I haven't heard that.
Did they mean linear?
Lineal, in a direct line or descent. So basically it is sort of linear. It's a variation on it, I guess.
Huh.
Learn every day. I need to use that word somewhere. There was barely any information about the world building and magic system. For the story to be so politically driven and focused on this castle, we barely got any information regarding society or the world, which was pretty disappointing. Quote, Dearest uncle, I hate to bear this sort of news, but I believe your daughter has betrayed you.
Okay.
I don't know why you're just random quotes there. I always have to say this, I wasn't a big fan of the character arcs, though I thought the part of the story was going to be my favorite because Castle of Lies was supposed to have a queer cast of characters. Everything was so lackluster. Parsifal was a stereotypical bisexual, and I don't think Thelia's Arrow Ace representation was handled well. The characters overall seemed pretty underdeveloped and one-dimensional, and interactions between them were just so weird and awkwardly written that it was hard to believe that it was happening. There was also the fact that there was some incest going on throughout the story that had some explicit sex scenes and were pretty uncomfortable to read. I don't usually mind sex in books, but the fact that these two characters were cousins was not so good. All right, I keep getting this time period setting that matters for this, people. Gotta open your mind to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it. But
yeah, I mean, like, you guys
yeah.
forget that one of the most interesting dynamics in all of Game of Thrones was Jaime and Cersei Lannister. I don't even watch Game of Thrones, and I know about Jaime and Cersei Lannister. Okay, I just tell you how big that entire plot point is.
Yeah, and they were siblings.
Yeah, that's like straight up like every kind of wrong incest you should not have. If you're going to have incest, definitely don't do it with a sibling or a direct relative. You shouldn't have it overall, but I mean, if you're going to do it anyway. If you're going to do it anyway, I'm not going to stop you. Why would I ever want to get involved in that shit? And that romance, along with the other one that happened at some point in the novel, came completely out of nowhere and barely had any transgression. Another thing that really bugged me was the constant change of POVs. There were only 4 perspectives in the story, but it was constantly jumping from one to another. I think we only got 2 pages into one POV, and then suddenly we dive into another. And that frustrated me so much because we barely got to delve into their dynamic and inner monologues. Overall, I thought this had such an incredible premise and was supposed to be queer. I was so let down by everything that there was nothing that could be redeemed in the story for me. The plot was stuck a lot of times, nothing was happening, and I got so bored till the point I considered DNFing it, and the characters were so underwhelming, so unfortunately this was a flop for me. Trigger warning: incest, threats of rape, alcoholism, violence. She received a free copy. Actual rating 1.5 out of 5. Jesus.
He's the only one who knows what I want more than anything: to push Karine out of the way, marry Balin myself, and the moment the old king kicks off, become the queen. The old king kicks off.
I mean, let's take a
let's
take a brief pause here and just like reflect on all this, guys. This is her second outing as a solo author. No oversight.
Yeah.
The first outing was already controversial with a big twist that came to re-affect the entire moral implication of it. Not the best sign, but I could see someone doing it. It could just be a flaw of the character, not necessarily the writer.
Again, I'm pretty conflicted on my feelings.
Because I mean, you can have fucked up things in stories, but dude, being boring.
Have we? Yeah, boring is the worst thing your product can be. Like, at least punch it up with some good dialogue. Jesus Christ.
This is honestly just flabbergasting. That why would they pick her up? Did one of them I want to know the impetus behind her getting hired. Like, I wish someone had asked that. Did someone ask that at the convention? Can anyone give me information on why she was hired?
Yeah, what was the
Was it solely for the fact that she wrote LGBTQ writings, and because she?
You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and tweet. Arnold or Cal and see if maybe they can.
I don't know if Cal knows
with this. Well, she was at the panel, wasn't she? Oh, I guess Twitter. Wait, is Twitter down again? Twitter might be down
Twitter's
again.
Been. Let me check.
Okay.
I'm gonna check my own Twitter.
Twitter's been down for a little bit. Although I did notice when it was my timeline was
looks
back
all
in
right.
order. Oh wait, are you able to log on right now?
I just.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm looking at my. This is.
Let's see, Twitter. Yeah, Twitter.
Oh, should I have tagged? I think I'm gonna tag.
Yeah, I keep getting the goddamn error
tag
message.
in this. We say respond to this.
God damn it.
Does anyone know what the process? What reason they gave for bringing her on board besides the generic platitudes?
Yeah, like I'm really curious. Yeah, maybe Miles read the horse books and was just like, "This is the best."
Yo, it turns out Miles is a horse guy. I mean, like, makes sense to me.
East Coast Twitter is down.
Well, I'm also East Coast.
I mean,
so.
he's also East Coast. I mean,
I'm technically,
East
I guess,
Coast,
Midwest,
so.
maybe, but
I mean, you're a little further in from
We
the
still have
coast,
Subway
but-
sandwiches. That's how East Coast I am.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
literally just ate Penn Station East Coast subs, which I didn't
Yeah.
know, but was started here in Cincinnati, which is weird to me because I thought it was, different.
Yeah. Wait, I agree with mixed coffee. What did coffee say? I have a feeling she was a friend of a friend type of thing. Oh, wait, just went back up for me.
Yeah, well,
So I'm just gonna tweet directly at Arnold and Cal.
yeah. Imagine her writing solely to write for LGBT. I mean, if they brought her on specifically for LGBTQ, woo! They are in for a hell of a time. I'm gonna tell you that because, by the sounds of it, she doesn't exactly represent that shit very well. She puts effort into exploiting their employees but can't find a decent writer. Lol. I mean, frankly, they could have gone to me. Literally did an entire book about lesbians. Some of which were just, like bi and such. It's not like I specified necessarily. I just explored convincing characters having romantic relationships. Very good. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
At least I hope it was good. I haven't gotten any kind of reviews
I
yet.
think did media not?
No
deliver
one
on
has.
that?
Everyone tells me, "Oh, I'm going to review your book, McNeil," and I sit here and I'm looking
I
at the
thought
review
media-
page,
I thought-
and there
I
is
thought media
absolutely
was-
no reviews for my book on the review page.
I thought media was gonna get on that. He doesn't know about
Well,
it.
there's one guy that wanted to do it, but he's doing a video review of it, and I'm like, dude, just write a text review. That's all I need.
Yeah, for people at home, like books live and die by the reviews, pretty much. Also by
Yeah.
pre-orders. So for your favorite authors, pre-order their books, and that'll really help them out.
Yeah. So yeah.
So, hint, hint. When I get mine out, y'all better pre-order the fuck out of it.
Expect only like 40 people to buy it. That's how much I've gotten about at this point.
Well, I also, my cousin has also published a series of like little books, so she's probably gonna help.
Oh,
me out
maybe
a
she can
little
help
bit
me
as well with that. But I can try to post something along.
I'm gonna see if I can get published.
I don't know. I've never. This is bad. I've never actually read any of them.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get published like Penguin Books next, at least with my action series.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the midst of rewriting. Yeah, I think I need to leave my job soon because it fries my brain.
That's why,
Working there.
like I said, that's why I'm a leech on society.
I know, but like I like having money too much.
Same, I understand that. So okay, so the next review.
But at the same time, it's really.
Should we move on to more
draining
reviews?
creatively.
There
Uh,
or what?
yes. We're doing the Nia.
We just
We
did
did a
Nia's. You can do Muriel
Yes.
Chartier.
Muriel, yes. All right. So yeah, I received the e-arc of Castle of Lies. What's e-arc? Is that okay? It was downloadable now since the synopsis had me intrigued. I was really happy to snag a copy of it. I wasn't sure what to expect, but in the end, all I can say is I am.
You see,
perplexed.
I'm noticing that's the big thing. It's not that they're like angry or like very rarely do they ever actually say it was bad. They just say, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
perplexed."
It's either they hate it.
Because I think they're scared to hate it. I think they're
Yeah,
scared to hate it.
No, some people have outright said they hated it, but and a lot of people have, like the people who DNF'd it were like, yeah, this is
True.
terrible. The best way I can describe Castle Lies is Game of Thrones meets Cruel Intentions meets Fantasia. Oh, I made the Cruel Intentions comparison with the last book. If you're going like, what the frack, you are about right. I probably should have DNF'd this book, but for some reason I kept going. I've had that with books. There were a lot of times that I was pondering what the hell did I just read, and as I continued on, it never got any better. I'm going to try my best to not start ranting, so apologies in advance. There will be minor spoilers in this review, but nothing that ruins the book or gives anything major away. From the sounds of it, there's nothing really to give away. The book started off good. I was legit enjoying the first third of it, but it went downhill from there. If you're looking for a fast-paced book full of action, look elsewhere. This book is slow. No, I mean S-L-O-W. She had to, like, period that shit. There are definitely parts that could have been cut that seem there just for the word count. Also, everything is really tropey. The story, the characters, all tropey. I mean, I don't mind tropes, at least you just gotta do them well, you know? Castle Lies is told from the perspective of 4 characters. Okay. See, Thelia, trained by her
Still
mother to be a
streaming.
fierce warrior, stop at nothing to become queen. Yeah. Cousin to Parsifal and the Princess Kareen. I believe she's demisexual, which was different and interesting to read about, as I haven't seen a lot of that rep in the past. Parsifal, cousin of Thelia, which she's been in love with forever, bisexual. Okay, am I the only one that is tired of seeing bisexual portrayed as floozies?
But I mean, like
Again,
that is a trope that apparently this author has fallen into. So okay, so let's try and make a prediction here.
And also, I do know a lot of promiscuous bisexuals.
And actually, when you think about it, Blake, Blake literally has how many 4 love interests at this point?
Adam, Ilya, Sun,
Oh
and Yang.
Lord!
Am I missing anyone? I don't
Boat
think
captain.
I'm missing anybody, but boat captain, right?
Best
the best ship.
How
could I
it
forget?
literally has a cannon.
They seem to be a lot of times presented in a promiscuous way. It's starting to really bug me. I mean, you don't. I guess you don't know a lot of bisexual people. No, I don't know this person. I can't judge them. Parsifal's no exception to this. He is shown to live a life of debauchery. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a life of debauchery. All right. Baled is kind of the white knight in shining armor. Sean. He was taken from his family when he was young and brought to the Holy Kingdom to be the heir of the king, though he has no blood ties to him and love of the Prince Crane. Yeah, that's a question I've been having. Like, can the ward really just take over the throne like that?
Okay, so I'm gonna make a prediction here based on all the information we've gathered thus far.
Because I don't think Theon would have been in line for the crown if Robb died.
I was gonna say,
I mean, Robb didn't die. But...
I'm gonna make a prediction based on the information we've gathered thus far, is that Blake and Yang are going to have a hot, passionate relationship that eventually they're going to get Ruby in on, because why not at this point with the all the incest being mentioned here? Weiss is going to have a non-consensual interaction with Ironwood, and that's going to become a whole big thing. There's going to be a whole court case around it. And Ironwood's going to get off scot-free as a point of criticism.
But no, it's revealed it didn't happen to Weiss.
Yeah. We shouldn't be joking about this, but at this point, there's just... Holy shit!
The woman wrote it. I mean, what do you want
Holy
from me?
shit! like, if it was written well...
I don't know if I picked a good time or a bad time to retire.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're going to... Like, it's very possible you're going to miss out on one of the best bad seasons of RWBY.
Oh God, do I want to? Oh God, how is it that after the end of the volume, the description of the director's commentary, the fucking soundtrack, and everything else that happened, this is the thing that's making me rethink my life choices? How did we get here?
Hey, I would love to have you back on the team. Frostbite's nothing without the tea.
Like the soundtrack, like I didn't care for the soundtrack at all. Molly Mock's a really good debauchery character. Like, but also Taliesin is also bi, isn't he? So that kind of makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm only 8 episodes in, but Molly Mock so far is my favorite.
Remember, those are just speculations, people. I'm not saying it's actually going to happen. But holy shit. The potential here, reading more of this, the potential has just skyrocketed for insane shit, and I am legitimately excited for that.
Now I have to make a fucking choice. That's what I have to do. Oh, now I have to make a fucking choice. Anyway, where was I? Alright, so that was Baled. Sapphire, one of the elves that invades the Holy Kingdom to purge it from magic. I thought they were trying to take the magic. Wait. Okay, whatever. Non-binary character. It's actually the first book that I read that has a non-binary character, which is nice. I think I've read a couple that have. For me, I felt like all these characters were all flawed and made to be unlikable, though I am not sure if that was the writer's intention. I think most of them could have been written better. They all feel underdeveloped. One thing I need to address about Thelia's character that really annoyed me, in the beginning, before the invasion of the elves, any mention of them would make Thelia break down, as in like a full-on panic attack where she goes into shock. On several occasions, we see this happening. But when the elves do get there, Thelia turns into this warrior goddess ready to fight them. All panic attacks forgotten. Oh God, I'm
Yeah,
already
this is
Ruby.
no
yeah.
wonder they hired
Shit.
her. They think this is good writing.
God damn it!
Holy shit! I didn't understand it. I thought
Wait, is this what they based Volume 5 and 6 off on? Were her books?
I genuinely thought that maybe they were just inexperienced writers. No, they think this is good writing. Holy shit!
I think we found the
Oh my
catalyst
God.
here.
Oh my god!
Okay, where was I? Is it me or is this unrealistic? No, it is. I would imagine her reaction to them being there in front of her would only bring on another panic attack, not a let's kill the bastards reaction. There are so many things that I feel are not explained in this book, and I think the author probably kept them for the sequels, but some of these should have been in the first book or at least hinted to. For instance, the Elvish invasion of the kingdom, the elves come in on a quest to eradicate magic, which has been around for many, many years, but all of a sudden is dangerous? Why is magic dangerous now when it's always been present? I don't believe any of it is explained, and I found it very confusing. There's also a made-to-seem important character that disappears in the middle of the book, and no one seems to know where he went or why he left. If you're going to make a character abandon everything and leave, at least try to hint to where they've gone or what they're doing before the ending of the book. Which leaves us with the magic system. Just ugh. Personally, I hated the magic system in this book. It was actually like watching Fantasia. Brooms sweeping and carts rolling in with food. Oh, and did I mention a big-ass mouth in the wall that opens and is used as a dustpan? What?
I shit you not.
Fuck? I shit you not. There's an actual mouth with a tongue that eats up dirt. Like, what the serious crap? Wow. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Oh my
Man,
God.
Schnee Manor is gonna get way more interesting.
For me, it didn't work. It wasn't believable, in quotes, and it came off as childish and silly. This book is this book is also an offender of one of my major pet peeves in fantasy. It's really silly, but this bugs me. But I mean, it bugs the hell out of me. I hate when here we go again. I hate when in fantasy books parents are referred to as mom and dad. I don't know why. Maybe because mom and dad appears to be a bit like slang, but it takes me out of the story when I see mom and dad in fantasy books. I strongly feel it should always be mother and father. There, I said it. Oof, I feel better. Lol. You can judge me if you want. Looking at you, Mel. So,
Oh
okay.
God, no.
On the positive side, I think Kiersey Burkhart shows promise as a writer. I know it's not her first novel, but it's the first one I read from her, and based on the prose of the book, I would give her another shot. There is a lot of diverse representation in this book, which is always good, so kudos to her for including these. It has the first poly relationship I've seen.
Let's watch. You missed
Like
the mouth in the side of the wall that apparently cleans up dust.
Yeah, that you did. Like I mentioned before, I probably should have DNF'd this book. It didn't do enough to keep me interested in continuing the series. If you decide to pick it up, I hope you enjoy it more than I did. This is a 1.5 star for me. Has there been anything? All right, 3 stars, like the highest I've seen it.
There's really no way around it. This book was terrible. The combination of young adult light verging on middle grade syntax writing style with the piss, shit, and incest make realism Game of Thrones ethos is not a good look.
Damn! This girl's good.
Oh
This
God, I
girl's
never
good.
thought I would see like all those words in the same sentence.
I want this girl to just like verbally bitch slap me with.
Yeah,
something
please,
like
come
that.
read
Holy
my
shit.
book.
I hope she. Kogiopsis, if you're still reviewing, I hope you review my stuff and just fucking lay into me with that.
Yes, same,
beautiful
please. You know
verbiage.
what? I don't care if you give my book 1 star. I would love to hear your more. I gotta read some of your reviews now.
Yeah,
the fact that the sexy
please.
scene with the most attempted erotic description is between cousins is worse. Get over yourselves, people! For Christ's sakes, it's fantasy incest! That happens! Like, I get it. It might be squicky to you. Fine. But know your fucking fucking things. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Know your fucking place. This is a fantasy story. It's a fantasy story in the Middle Ages. Cousins got married all the time. Christ. And like Thelia. Okay. And like Thelia describes being aroused by her cousin's penis as text, but nobody says shit or even vomit. We get horsefish and fledge instead. What the fuck are we talking about?
What does mean?
Nothing to recommend it. Not even the non-binary representation doesn't justify it, and the idea that Thelia is supposed to be somewhere on the 8 spectrum is worse.
Kogiopsis, I salute
And she's like,
thee.
see other reviews.
was
She's
gold.
like, look at the other reviews. Holy shit. I'll read the
Yeah.
next 2 because like you read the pretty long one there. ARC kindly provided. Okay, so it was free copy. The honest synopsis, the synopsis for Castle of Lies intrigued me. I had such high hopes for this book, yet I was left feeling indifferent about it. I had no connection with any of the characters, and even though the story had twists and turns galore, I struggled to push it through it to the end. Next one, Castles of Lies follow Thelia, Percival, Corinne when the kingdom gets invaded by elves. When they are trapped in the castle, when they meet the elf warrior Sapphire. I enjoy the magic in the story. It felt alive and charming and funny, like the food cart. The story itself, I do feel like this was a young adult, is for older readers. This is a strong character lead book, and while I did like the world magic, I didn't have a favorite character. However, I did really enjoy the author's writing style, and this is so messy. This entire review is messy.
Yeah, this is all over the place.
Izzy,
Holy
full
fuck.
review to come. Yeah, we'll see. Becca, do not...
Well, that was... She posted that 6 months ago, or 7 months
that's what I
ago.
said.
So.
We'll see where that lines up. Did not finish. Review to come. K8. Did not mean to click that. Shit.
K8... Oh,
He's
what is...
the...
Okay, yeah,
Ooh,
what's
wow.
this?
We might have to trade off during this one.
Oh, Jesus, fuck!
Like, it's
Oh
super
my
fancy
God.
and detailed, but oh my god.
I would never, ever, ever in my life support book burning, but once in a while a book comes along and makes a strong case in favor of it. Castle of Lies is one of them. Oh my god.
Oh, what? This reminds me of my favorite quote in relation to the tabletop role-playing game called Fatal. If you haven't heard of it, it's one of the worst tabletop role-playing games ever put to print. Because it has, like, you know, all this rape stuff in there. Basically, you can be fighting someone and accidentally end up fisting their anus by accident because of how the system is set up. Someone put this out there. In someone's review of it, they said, to say that this book should be burned is an insult to fire. Which is one of the most beautifully... They even highlighted, like, this is the best line of the review. Then afterwards they're like, that was the best line of the review, you may now leave. Even though that was like a third into the review. That was a third into the review.
That's like Smogon's entry for, like, Love Disc.
No, I
Have you
haven't.
ever looked at that? Oh, basically, how Smogon did it, because if you don't know what Smogon is for, like, competitive Pokemon players, it basically gets into, like, the stats, suggested move list that they can use, how good they are, what counters them, all that stuff. For Love Disc, actually, I can try to pull up the actual description. No, not Snoggin, Smogon. There we go. Yeah. Come on. Is it here? No, it was. I know I'm kind of taking a bit here, but I really just want to say this.
Why is doing that? Mr.
Nope,
Game
that's
Freak
not it.
227, thank you for subscribing. That happened like a few minutes ago, so I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Come on.
Oh, Christ, this is... You want to hear roasts. We'll be getting to them in just a minute. Being an hour and a half behind is boring. So I'm ignorant of minorities because I'm not one. You must be ignorant of white people. Floof, can you please not argue that shit in the comments, please?
Yeah, please. Oh, I got it. All right, so I got it. So this is the Smogon entry for Love Disc. We'll take a generic water type, give it crummy stats everywhere except for speed, give him a trait that doubles his speed in the rain, and the option to use agility, and call it a day. Love Disc is great if you're playing with Battle Timeout because its mere presence should cause your opponent to laugh at it for so long that you win the match. Hang on. Charm turns Love Disc into a very sturdy physical
that can survive 2 Caterpie tackles and force it to switch out. And instead of listing Love Disc counters, I'll list here what doesn't counter Love Disc. The end. Smogon has some gems, dude.
Jesus.
I swear to God.
All right, well, I'll read the first third of this. Oh, what did I get?
Okay.
Abby Cool 94 has subscribed. Thank you, Abby Cool. So here we go. Yeah, so Castle of Lies is one of them. High points. Things do in fact happen. That's always a good start to the pros list.
There you go. Maybe that's
Non-binary representation? Question mark. Portrays elves as the bastards that they are.
I wonder if this person's in our Discord, because that sounds like something someone in our Discord would say.
Low points. Characters are either dull or unlikable. Little to no character growth. Haphazard and lazy world building. Haphazard and lazy writing style. Literally Corrine's entire character. Progression only happens due to consequence and pure idiocy. Oh god. Supposedly an LGBTQ ensemble cast. Hates common and poor people. Nothing is explained. Nothing is resolved. Plot, question mark, character arcs, question mark, resolution, question mark, research, question mark, coherence, cohesion, question mark, Lone Wolf was subscribed, question mark, no, I mean, thank you. Things happen for a reason and characters not doing whatever, question mark. These are all important parts of a story. Castle of Lies has none of them. It was taxing to read. C, slugging through all the fuckery, and I detest every part of it.
Jesus.
The thing with a story, any story, be it told as a movie, television show, book, video game, is that the scene should support your overall story, not vice versa. The story should not exist to support one or two scenes, as it does here. As I trudged through Castle of Lies to the end, it was easy to wonder what exactly was the point of all this. Of 4 main characters, 2 were of little to no impact. Balid's arc is simplistic, weak, and unnecessary. He learns that Corrine, a very obnoxious, sketchy character, is obviously sketchy.
Obviously sketchy.
He has no personality.
Yeah.
Any number of characters could replace his point of view chapters. Sapphire only exists to get uncomfortably attached to the humans they're basically treat as dumb pets. Thalia seems is the core of the story. Parsifal has no character growth and only exists to supplement Thalia's chapters. She is the only one who bothers with both concrete inner and outer goals. Most of the book revolves around her. Unfortunately, Thalia's outer goal is completely flaccid. Survive the elf takeover, and her emotional growth is even worse. Learn that men aren't awful at all, and become a softer, loving person once she accepts dick in her life. Let me see here. I'll read the next few paragraphs too. Which more unfortunately means that the story exists to support the incestuous romance between Thalia and Parsifal. The soft, sweet zoned cousin Thalia realizes has always been there for her. If at this point you're not gagging, cringing, or running for the hills,
there we go.
then congrats. There's probably something wrong with you. Okay, look. Yeah.
Or we understand that it's a fantasy book.
I really hate how often this is coming up for people who are experienced writers. Or readers, I should say.
Yeah.
Everything about Castle of Lies is a hot, steaming, incestuous load of crap. Okay, you want to take it away from here?
Oh, yep, hang on. Incestuous load of crap. Which the author loves, by the way. There's a difference between a realistic approach to waste management in a quasi-medieval fantasy land and lovingly describing it at every opportunity. The shitpot Thalia and Parsifal share in the dungeon, the giant shithole under the castle, the time they jump into the giant shithole under the castle, the author's fecal fetish shows.
That's what I'm calling it. That.
Oh, so she's in the German.
They're going to have
okay.
to escape either the Atlas military or from the Schnee Manor via the waste disposal route, and they're going to cover it in brown liquid, and people are going to be like, "Ooh, what is this stuff?" And one person's going to be like, "You better not think about it." Because I guarantee you Miles and Carrie won't be brave enough to prevent that idea, but will know how to probably play it a little cleaner than this.
Into the garbage chute, Flyboy. The core plot itself shows promise. The high and mighty elves claim the castle from the stupid humans in order to repair a magical leakage situation. I've heard this explained so many different ways, and I have no idea what the actual wit is. Are they trying to take the magic? Are they trying to fight up the magic? Are they trying to repair the magic? What's going on here? But they're soon revealed as prone to corruption, to stray from their ideals as the humans are. Their good intentions aren't so good. It's a great twist of the expected if the entire story wasn't an excuse for the yuckiest love story at the core. Instead, the book is full of stupid decisions, pointless escape attempts which lead nowhere, and a complete lack of resolution in the main plot. Characters disappear off-page to the void of insignificance. Null steals troops and betrays the crown and then just disappears off-page. Oh, that's the character that just disappears. Null. Do you know why? Because nothing matters. Nothing matters in this book, and the author clearly never stopped to think about what she's writing about and the messages she's portraying. The whole thing reeks of a complete lack of reflection or awareness. It reads as amateur, the prone itself is hasty, sloppy, and graceless. There's 4 first-person POVs, and they're all so lazy and bland it's impossible to tell them apart. And again, what is the author trying to portray here? Did she stop to think about Thelia's character and background at all? The book tells that Thelia's mother is the last of a hard people, almost completely wiped out, and Thelia's mother endured all sorts of violations for the position of power as Duchess she managed to scrabble. She wanted better for Thelia and taught her to fight, both physically, resulting in a lot of bruises, and to fight for power. It was not a happy childhood. She warned her daughter frequently of the dangers of men and what they did to women. Thelia's mother has experienced the destruction of her people, the attempt of her adoptive family to tame her, and a cruel marriage where she was violated and raped. And do you know what the book says about this woman? That she was wrong. Thelia learns to embrace fucking men, and now she is so much happier and softer and better as a person, which isn't a disgusting or impulsive take at all. Oh boy.
Woo!
Nothing has ever.
No, I'm just
sorry.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow. Nothing is ever said of Thelia's father. She never comes to any realizations about her mother or how she was raised, or that her father doesn't see her as her own person, but as a possession. Her father dies a quick, heroic death, and then no more is said. In parentheses, can someone nuke this book out of existence, please? The book also deeply hates average, poor, and common folk. Everyone main character is in a position of privilege. In fact, they only survive the ordeal because of their status. The regular people are rounded up, caged like cattle, tortured, and then relocated? Maybe? Who knows? Regular people are unimportant. Something else that deeply bugs me about this book is that the author lovingly refers to it as her little queer book, but there are no same-sex couples. The whole question of representation is incredibly sketchy. We got a non-binary character in Sapphire, which is cool, but the rest is a mess. The only character out of 4+ LGBT characters who experiences same-sex attraction is Parzival, who's bisexual, and he's played as a slutty stereotype. Really, the only reason I can think of to read Castle if you're super, super desperate for non-binary representation. Well, then RWBY fans are just the kind of audience you need. Even then, you should know Sapphire's arc ends on a very questionable knot. I think he meant note, but the E is mysteriously absent. From start to finish, Castle of Lies is a revolting mess. The writing is bad, the characters are unlikable or bland, the romance is disgusting, and the plot is the result of such translucently moronic decisions that makes me want to eat kitchen tile. Oh, wow. There's almost no reason to read this book, and frankly, there was no reason to publish it. Someone should have stopped the author along the way and told her she can write whatever fecal-fueled fantasy she wants, but some things are meant to be kept to yourself.
Christ!
Oh, wow. Oh, all right, this person's name, hang on. K8, I salute you. That was gorgeous.
There's one more batch of reviews. I'm going to grab a lick of water. I'll be right back. You might want to grab it yourself.
Okay, I'll read. I'll take a peek in the comments.
I'm gonna play an ad too. Hey everyone, enjoy the ad. Woo!
Dump the book in Chernobyl. Don't get too close to it. So it's a smut book. Blake would probably love it. Maybe. It's kind of disturbing your protagonist doesn't really give another thought about the countless people they possibly killed. Yeah. There should be a little something there. Let's see. That's an insult to Chernobyl. It's like the reviewers talking about RWBY. Yeah. And she literally only cares about herself and her relationship with Mark. Wait, I think I missed where that person was writing. I don't know who Marco is in this instant. Best roast of July 2019. I think that review was written in. It was written in. Just written last month, so it's the best roast of June 2019. Literally CW Game of Thrones. There you go. That was a good roast, K8. Yeah. Book itself is more unstable than the elephant's foot. I'm sure what that means. These reviews to someone who probably why Miles picked her as someone just as awful writing as he is. Well, Max, were you here for the other books that we looked over? Because the other ones were ranged from mixed to decent. Bumblebee is going to be a mess in Volume 8. Well, let's get to Volume 8 when we get to Volume 8, I guess. Napalm, the only thing I can think of that would do this book justice, probably. Why can't Berserk get a good series? I don't know. I'd never watched Berserk.
And I am back. What I miss?
There we go. Just reading
Okay,
shit
so
in the
Blade
chat.
Chart says for a $5 donation, which, by the way, there is a link to donate down below if you want to donate to the stream and have your comment read out loud. I'm very worried for Ruby. Now my end hope is at the end Ruby would be much better than it currently but now I don't know anymore. Same Blade Charge.
Are there any 5-star reviews? Not on this book, Miss Papandopoulos.
Not a single one. I don't think
Not
there's a
on this
4-star
book.
review.
At least not that I've seen.
Yeah, I
There's a
don't
4-star?
think there's a 4-star. Hell, I barely think there's a 3-star.
Yeah, no, three is the highest I've seen it so
All right,
far.
so the next one is Xandra by Starry Sky Books. Did not finish, 30%. I spent way too much time not caring. I just have better books to read. All right, simple enough. Sharon, Discover, Elysian.
Oh, she was close. She got like 3/4 of the way in.
What?
Shannon, she DNF'd at 71%.
Yeah, she was close. That's a deep point to drop a book. The concept was was good, actually. I was interested the very moment I'd read the blurb, but as I dive into the story, I found the plot was kind of off. At first, I enjoyed it, but then it went downhill so fast throughout the book. The author gave a couple of POVs, but lack of depth of storytelling. I felt like the characters aren't well described, so I didn't feel any sympathy or respect to them, not even the tiniest bit. I'm sorry, but I just can't continue. I tried really hard finishing this book until I got to the part where I fast read most of the scenes, but in the end I decided to give up. Okay, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
I think I'll take this next one too. Arc provided by NetGalley. The 3-star, so it's one of the more positive ones. Quote, "You made me consider the meaning of days when my life was a blur of years." That's a pretty decent line. I am in all honesty surprised at how much I grew to like this book. I gave it a 3-star. In the beginning, I struggled to connect with the characters. Some of them felt very flat and fell into some stereotypes. But after a while, I got sucked into the plot and the scheming and the relations between the characters. In the end, I didn't want to put it down. And now that I finished it, I wish that I could read the next book. I'm super intrigued by the magic in the book and by where the different characters will end up after the ending of book 1. I feel like most of the characters turned out to be very different from what I first thought in the beginning of the book, which I found to be very fun, since it seemed I learned more and more about who they were as opposed to who they pretended to be. When it comes to some things that pull the rating down for me, plot and characters are the main reasons, you said after you just praised them. The plot is very little hard to stay on board with, as it sometimes is a little all over the place, and a lot of the characters doing a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons at the same time. Character-wise, I struggle with how some of them fell a little flat. Some were, at least early on, more or less without personality. In my opinion, this gets better as the book went on, but it was a big struggle in the beginning. Overall, I liked this book, it was fun, and I'd love to read the continuation of the series if and when it comes out. Alright, take the next one.
Okay, yeah, so that was a positive
another
one.
positive
How about that? Yes, it looks like...
he has a Roxas character portrait. Damn it.
Wait, who is that?
Roxas from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it looked kind of Kingdom Heartsy. You know, I read a lot of books from different genres. While I get bored from them. They repeat the same plot, the identical characters, and overused tropes, and it's nothing unique that I have never seen before. But then comes a book that decides to go a different route and take risks and try to nudge me into its tail, to be invested into care. Castle Lies tries that, but like every ambition, it doesn't necessarily succeed. Kiersey Burkhart tries to make Castle Lies interesting by the concept of magic being so volatile it springs to life objects from a bucket to a broom and so on. Now the characters' lives are flipped upside down, all the while dealing with elves invading the kingdom. Straight away it begins and ends exactly as you imagine, but because of how it differentiates from all other books of the fantasy genre, I had to continue reading because I was curious what will happen next, and so I got blinded into completing it. The characters are give or take will either infuriate you or you end up liking them. They are to me more like a bland mesh of Carbon Clay, not that interesting except for Sapphire and Baled, who only kept my attention on the story because I was worried and cared about them. The world building isn't perfect, but captivated my attention. But I wish the author worked on it more in order to polish on it. Her writing is simple, easy to read, nothing grandeur to give any remarks about. Overall, it's a nice book. Try it or don't. It is simply my frank opinion on the matter.
All right. Anna, 2.5 stars. I really do not know how to feel about this book. It seems kind of like it was just following all the fantasy novel stereotypes and tropes, and when there was something different, it felt a little forced. I also had trouble liking many of the characters, but I guess the characters don't have to be likable for a book to be good. Overall, I'd say this was just okay. It could have been better. Okay. Thank you for Learner Publishing Group for the arc of this book. I loved it. It helped me get through from it. It's a 4-star. First 4-star.
Oh my god, we found our first 4-star.
I loved it. It helped me from the get-go. Such a refreshing take on elves and magic. It was amazing to read how all the characters developed and how they each had their own point of view in the book.
Okay. Seems to be the complete opposite of what everyone
Olivia
else
Wynn
is
said
saying.
another 4-star. A fantasy reminiscent of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Although the characters are unlikable, they are some of the most interesting I've read. Really?
All right. Let's see. Yeah, it's a weird. That was a weird book, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone. Yeah.
RTC. What does RTC mean?
Okay. Read to completion, maybe.
Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada.
I think read to completion is probably.
Leia gave it a 2-star. Read on her blog. How about no?
Do we want to do that or? Okay, you crazy.
Yeah,
Dutch
no,
bastard.
I'm not doing that long. 2 stars. Okay, we're on the last 3. While reading this book, I discovered one important thing about myself. I like friendships, and if a book can't even give me that, then what am I doing here? Castle of Lies features a cast of...
That is a very compelling argument.
Castle of Lies features a cast of royalty, near royalty, adopted royalty, and even some diverse elves, and all of them spent the first half of the book trying to kill each other and was just being downright rude and not friendly at all. There was a heckload of backstabbing going on, and I didn't like it. Friends. I am not a backstabby person. Less than 30 pages in, there had already been several POV changes. Oh God!
Wait, in 30 pages?
Like several. Like we're talking more than one flip. Like,
Good
okay,
God.
so to give you, I've been reading Saga of Tanya the Evil. I've said it several times, and that has a very loose POV. Yeah. It does some really interesting things with like kind of mixing whose POV you're in at any given time, but it's very fluid in that way. It's a very liquid book where you just kind of go with the flow of it, and it actually works out really well. But 30 pages with POV changes, which is a very abrupt way of putting it, that's... It already felt like too many characters, and most of them didn't have distinct enough personalities for me to differentiate them. At this point, I also didn't really care about any of the characters. They were all at each other's throats trying to backstab each other, and not exactly my type of book. I want friendship, I want romance, but I don't want a story in which all the characters have secret plans to ruin each other's lives. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. Things didn't start to pick up until page 55 or so, and even then, I wasn't really into the story. Maybe it just wasn't my type, but I also think that the first half was fairly hard to follow or care about. The ending was okay, but even then, I did not care much for the characters. A lot of the elements in this book were not what I was looking for in a fantasy young adult. Club has subscribed. Thank you, Club. I think that others who appreciate fast-paced action/arguments in Strange Kingdoms might like this book better than I did. There was another person that said you shouldn't go this if you like fast-paced action. Let me see how long these next ones are. All right, you take the second last one. I'll take the very last one. Annette Jordan.
All right. So let's see. All right. So Annette Jordan. Okay. 1 star. That's awesome. A disappointed and disjointed fantasy. While the political intrigue had some potential, the characters were flat and uninteresting, and the writing felt choppy and disjointed. I also struggled to make sense of the magic system throughout the book. It was never really explained or even well established, and at times descended to the farcical? A giant mouth in the wall that swallows rubbish, for example. None of the characters were likable, and I could not relate to any of them either. I was intrigued by the inclusion of a non-binary character, but struggled to buy into their relationship with Thelia, especially given the paralyzing fear veil she displays in the beginning of the book. This evaporates at some point, but there's no real explanation for that either. Overall, some good ideas, but not enough to save the book.
Okay, and the last one by Shannon. I was given an advance copy of The Castle of Lies by Night Gallery for an open, honest review of the book. Notice how many of these reviews are from people that got it for free. That's pretty bad, too. With that being said, I really wanted to like this book. The synopsis sounded fantastic, right up my alley. Unfortunately, the book didn't deliver for me. The book is being marketed as young adult fiction, and I was honestly shocked by topics brought up. From the beginning of the book, there is an overtone of severe alcoholism, and it continues throughout. Other topics that I personally think were quite strong and descriptive for young adult fiction include detailed sexual encounters, incest, interspecies love, violence, talk of rape, and the list goes on. There's some very heavy themes, in my opinion, for young adult fiction. I'd argue you can still have those themes, but you have to be very careful with them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you can have them, but that's a fine line you're walking.
on top of the heavy subject matter, I found the characters slightly impersonable and unlikable. By the end of it, I really couldn't care less about what happened to them. At times, things happening in the book were confusing and not clearly communicated. The plot was slow and it barely kept my attention. It took me quite some time to finish this book. To be honest, I only finished this book because I was given an ARC, otherwise I probably wouldn't have finished it. It was also, besides the heavy themes, a very typical young adult fantasy romance, and the ending was quite predictable. The published date was set for May 7th, 2019. As of now, if you're interested...
Oh, this book's only 2 months old.
If you're interested in the strong subject matter I spoke of, or you just want to see if I'm being harsh, you can always check it out for yourself. I, however, wouldn't recommend it, and I definitely wouldn't recommend it for targeted age group. I'm starting at 13 and going up. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, this is why I'm never going to market my books as young adult.
I mean, even my book, I market as 16 and up. I'm a 16 or up kind of guy, because I think a 16-year-old can start appreciating really dark themes. But
I said it for rated mature, but I'm like, if a high school read it, I was reading that shit at their age.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
Well, there is one bright spot we can pick here. That San Euphonium movie is screening tonight.
Oh, really? Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I'm glad to know there's good in this world.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So let's decompress here.
Yes.
So, Kiersey Burkhart.
So, okay, this was a roller coaster, this adventure that is Kiersey Burkhart. Her best work involved horses, but that might have also been her co-author playing a major part in that.
Co-author and the star ratings are okay. They don't typically. I mean, there's only a few that breach 4 stars, but that's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's just unimpressive. So maybe
13 plus.
Maybe they should work together more often.
That makes sense. Maybe, yeah, because the reviews for the horse books were all. I mean, there weren't many of them, but they were decent.
Do we have a recent picture? Was Kiersey actually on stage at RTX? Does anyone know?
I don't. That's actually a good question. Did anybody watch the Ruby panel? Do they know if she actually made an appearance?
For the record, this is her now. If you're looking at this, well, you'll be able to see it on the screen in a few minutes. I can just message. This is her now.
I mean, she's cute.
I have this thing. I hate septum piercings. I hate them.
Oh,
in the newest images, she has a septum piercing, and just like.
Yeah,
it always reminds me. It's like,
I gotta be honest.
It reminds me of cattle. You remind me of a bull, and it's like that is.
Yeah.
That is not a good look.
Yeah.
I don't like comparing people to cows. Yeah. All right, I do not like it.
I mean, that's not my reasoning for it. I just don't find them particularly attractive.
Also, you get in the way of kissing and such. Just saying.
Yeah. They should add more horses. If they can bring back Neo for rings, then they may do the same. The book is ranging from definition to it was decent. No, I don't have time for panels. Okay, well, does anybody else? The SJW nose piercing.
I mean,
Really?
honestly,
Is that
it is
what we're-
kind of the. But then again, most nose piercings.
I guess.
I mean, when you get down to it, piercings
Yeah.
on unusual parts of the body are kind of an artistic endeavor, and artists typically lean pretty far left.
Yeah.
So it's not surprised. There's going to be a broad overlap.
I guess. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I hate the idea of needles piercing as like no.
Same,
Absolutely
same.
not. Yeah, I can't do that shit. Technically, Volume 6, Chapters 5 to 7 are filler and fabricated drama. Yeah, but they were still good. Let's see. Nobody's saying anything. I guess nobody's seen the. I guess nobody in here was at the panel because nobody's saying.
We have
anything.
245 people here, and none of them went to the damn panel.
Or none of them at least watched it. Actually, wait, no, they couldn't watch the panel because I don't think
None
the
of them
panel
were
was
broadcast. None of them were.
Yeah, I think the main floor. I think the main floor was.
All the same, just holy crap, man! This
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I think yeah. Didn't Cal record it? I thought
She
Cal
might
recorded it.
have. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can get I'm trying to find like an excerpt. Okay, so Castle of Lies sells for $18, but it's on discount for $12 right now. Is there a way I can find a preview? How do I?
should be one. I mean,
I've
I'm
never
sure if you dig,
looked at previews.
I'm sure if you dig around like Google Reads and stuff, you can probably find something.
Is it on Google Reads?
You saw a video. You saw a video about the panel, but not the actual panel itself. Sun Abs.
It's at $7 on there. Oh, free sample. Here we go.
World Poor. Did you see the leaked fight from the panel? No, I haven't watched it. I don't know. Again, I guess I've also said that I'm not watching. Well, now I'm starting.
Oh,
to rethink that,
wait! We
unfortunately.
have a chapter. We have. Oh my God, wait.
shit.
Okay, we have up through page 72.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, we have a
God,
map.
I have to go to
There's
bed.
a map.
I have to go to bed at some point.
I
tonight.
know, but we can at least we can get a little start on this.
I don't even how much sleep did I even get last night? I
So
didn't
let's
check.
see.
Like I can't imagine it was much. No, Fip, I'm not going to bed right now. Time to call Thanos and King Ghidorah. They need to decimate humanity straight too
Northern
far from the path of
Republic,
God.
got a bunch of maps here. The Holy Kingdom, the Clisson, the Bluffs, the Sea
Oh, is that
Kingdoms. Oh, very inventive names here. The Northern Republic. I wonder. They're probably in the South.
I mean, I'm not good with names either. So someone else, when I do stuff, someone else is gonna have to think of my names for me because I don't know shit.
Keeps getting squished. All right, so I'll zoom back out.
Yeah, what the
to
hell
1 to
is-
10. All right.
Phoenix Tom, please read it. I'm probably not. I'll read her
Let
other
us
book.
read.
That
Let us
other
read
one-
up through. Up to Parsifal.
read a
Up
few,
to Parsifal.
yeah.
It's like 4 pages. All right.
Wow. The people
Do you want a link to this so
okay.
you can read along?
Fuck
Wait,
it. Why
I'll send
not?
you it.
Okay.
There.
Go. I'm clicking up.
Make sure you have
clicking
cookies enabled.
I think I do.
Why is it? I just want to click away. Yeah, I want to... All right.
Oh wow! I still have.
I do like the
I
decoration.
mean,
Decoration
that's
is
not
nice.
good.
Chapter 1, Thelia.
Oh wait, hang on. Oh, guess I don't. Hang on.
Oh
How do
my
I
God!
turn
Remember that
cookies?
really nice quote that we had about Corinne? It's literally the first line of the book.
Oh, I figured
Corinne
as much.
is.
Hang on, I'm moving it over to I'm moving it over to Firefox. See if it gives me better. Looks like it does.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
gonna try and center this better for everyone so that they don't have
Yeah.
such a hard time reading it. All right, there we go. Chapter 1. Corinne isn't made of queen material, never has been. And illustrating my point, she can't even hold her liquor. She worms across her bed in her silk nightgown, spilling wine across the blankets, weak inside and out. Thelia, I don't know what to do. My cousin settles her head on my lap and sips what's left of her glass. I play my usual part, rubbing her shoulder so she wouldn't get the fury still boiling inside me, touching her hair so she wouldn't know how much I want to tangle my hand in it and pull until she screams. I peel my lips back in a smile.
Oh.
What do you mean? Do what you've always done. She rolls her head around in my lap in denial. It's more than that with Balin. She lets out a frustrated puff of wine breath. It's more complicated now. As if things haven't always been complicated between Princess Corrine and that lucky foreigner. Yes, lucky. Corrine can pity Balin all she wants for losing his parents when he was barely 10, but look where it landed him, in line for the throne. So maybe his parents were unlucky. Still, they should have known leaving out a candle to welcome magic into their house was a bad idea, especially here in the Holy Kingdom. People have been hanged for less, and she's always preaching about how women should be allowed in politics didn't make them popular either. I've never been convinced that fire was a mere accident. That fire was a mere accident. Why would it be complicated? I asked Cordeline gently. He's the king. He's the king's ward and heir. You're the princess, the people's favorite. You two are supposed to end up together. If the king were smart, which is always a matter of suspending your disbelief, he'd be angling for the union. With Balin on the throne, we'll get access to the Northern Republic's trade routes and their luxury market, their technology. Corrine empties her glass. But I think it's a mistake. Mistake was made. That my stuttering was totally in character there. Just saying. My whole chest goes warm and bubbly, like the wine in my glass. I've been waiting for these words since spring, when she buried that dagger in my back and she ruined my one chance at happiness. Oh, we might learn what she did. What happened? I asked, keeping the eagerness out of my voice as much as I can. Corrine slides off my lap and buries her face in my pillow. Her empty glass rolls away. I shouldn't say more. You know you can trust me. I take her hand and squeeze. What happened, Corrine? She sniffles into the pillow. Balin asked me to marry him. He asked me, not Dad. Engaged, without the king's permission. Behind his back, I hold in a wicked smile. Praise be the glory of Melida! I know exactly how I repay Corrine for what she did to me. Congratulations. I'm sure the king will approve. I take her glass and refill it. Another. Corrine sighs languorously. Thank you. I hand the full glass back, watching her take a long gulp. Tomorrow's banquet, when anyone comes to Four Halls to dine with the king, and I already have a battle plan. Mother always said that everyone needs an edge, a bit more knowledge than anyone else, so you always have a bit more power. I found my edge. I know just how to use it. Do I feel like, am I the only one that feels like we've skipped like a preamble with this character? Like it feels like missing some context to this.
We're thrown right in the middle of whatever's going on.
Positioning here to make sure everything is more comfy. Okay. I'm walking into the banquet hall when Parsifal stumbles upon me. I can't keep that up. His cheeks are bright red. He's gone into the wine cellar with Dirk again. My dearest Thalia Fingarden, you're looking fabulous tonight. I roll my eyes at the pig-faced cousin. He's been a flatterer since he arrived in the Holy Kingdom, and realized certain people were laughing not only at his jokes but also at his irregular face. It works surprisingly well for him, with most people. I've worn this dress. She should have probably made another paragraph there. I've worn this dress 12 times, Percy. And I've restitched it another 6 times or dyed it different colors to make it look new. That's been my routine. Ever since the king's senseless war bankrupted us all, along with every other noble family. Daddy found out the hard way that just being the queen's brother didn't protect our fortune. Doesn't negate my statement in the least. Parsifal flattened his nose and mouth curled into themselves as he smiles. We take our seats next to each other at the long banquet table. I sit across from Daddy, who ignores me. Oh, God. Who ignores me even though he hasn't seen me all week. That never gets easier, but at least my brother, Morgan, didn't join him tonight. He's probably back at the manor performing bloody penance to the goddess. Eating roast pig at a banquet would undoubtedly interfere with all his gratuitous self-sacrifice in Melidia's name. I'm not interested in Parsifal's gobbling tonight. I have something important to do. Dearest uncle, I say as I help the king out of his chair at the end of the banquet. He'll be drunk and grateful for my assistance. I hate to bear this sort of news, but I believe your daughter has betrayed you. I heard something that might interest you, Percival said. I snap out of my pirate rehearsal. Some visitors have arrived at the castle earlier today. I narrow my eyes. Visitors? He holds up one finger. You first. You must have something for me.
You initiated this conversation, you fat fuck.
We've played this game for years, trading secret for a secret. An insight for an eavesdrop. Now that our families have no coin, we only respect one kind of currency: information. I had integrity once upon a time. What?
No, I said that's a Hearts and Atlantis line right there.
I had integrity once upon a time, but then my brother tried to break my legs. I got the scar down the side of my face, and my mother ran off. Since then, I haven't had much patience for the hard and honest way. So I lean over and tell Parsifal what I know, and his dark eyebrows rise into his bounteous curls. This should be enough to buy me the gossip he promised. I suppose it was inevitable, Parsifal cocks his eyebrow. You must be disappointed. He's the only one, well, besides Mother, who knows what I want more than anything. To push Corinne out of the way, marry Balin myself, and the moment the old king kicks off, become the queen. That's not how that works, but okay. As I learned, monarchies are a lot more complicated because you become like the consort or something like that. Like currently we have a queen in England, and her husband is not. He's like the consort of the queen. He's not a king. My mother crawled her way to the title of Duchess with her teeth and nails, tolerating every violation and humiliation for one fistful of power. As she always said, what Corinne was born with, you'll have to fight for. While my silly cousin was mooning over a boy, Mother taught me to cripple a man without messing up my braid. I'm not disappointed, I smirk at him. I'm going to tell the king. Parsifal sits up straight, unable to hide the curling grin. How absolutely cruel of you! I smile. Did you expect anything less? Never!
You know, the more you give him this voice, the more I'm like, she ends up porking him the entire
God! Nobody else would understand. Nobody else knows that Corinne did to me. Maybe he'll be so insulted that he'll insist the two of them part ways. Maybe he'll be so insulted that he'll insist the two of them part ways, I say, making Balin available for me. Parsifal's brows furrow. And keep Balin as his heir? He wouldn't choose Balin over his own daughter. That's your foreigner upbringing showing. Here it's when I'd ribbon about growing up in Freyfoy? Freyfoy. Balin's not royal blood, but he's a man. That counts for more. Mother always said that when you're a woman in this land, working twice as hard won't get you what you want. Maybe wanting it 10 times as much will. Huh? Alright. Parsifal grimaces at me.
I mean, I guess mathematics is working in your favor.
I smile back and ask, now what do you have for me about these visitors? He sighs. They're from the south. The Lord of Willows? My eyebrows rise and hopefully note a hopeful note fills my voice. Or the Baron. Farther south. There's only one place at the kingdom's at the edge of the kingdom, the Clisson, a sunlit land on the hills of hills, sheep, and people who are utter doorknobs. What could those cater-tooths be doing here? I ask. They've refused to speak to us since the war. 10 cycles ago, to say years, their scattered tribes united to elect their first head chief to repel the foolish invasion. Do you blame them? Parsifal snorts. We tried to invade and conquer completely unprovoked. Kind of a shit move. That's a very, very modern phrase, but okay. So where are they? Are they here now? I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. A horn blows and the royals enter the hall. Horn blows, the royals enter the banquet hall. We all rise. The king walks in first under the guards' crossed spears, carrying a full goblet of wine. Behind him comes Corinne, strawberry ringlets spilling down the front of her ocean blue gown. Then Baled enters, dressed in his favorite long red coat. The fabric makes his deep brown skin glow in the lamplight, and I can't help smiling. Supreme ass-kisser of the kingdom, though he has a certain boyish charm. But Baled doesn't take his usual seat at the king's right. He settles one chair down, and he looks like he's swallowed a particularly unsavory beetle. We're all about to return to our seats when another horn blows. A pretty young blonde man I've never seen strides into the banquet hall, wide open collar flapping across his chest. Is that the chief? He's so much younger than I expected. He's flanked by 3 rough-looking bodyguards, 2 men and 1 woman, all of them armed. So it's normal in the South for women to use swords? For a second I feel foolish about setting my ambitions here, on the Holy Kingdom. But the taste in victory will be even greater when I become queen and wield my sword from the king's balcony. Everything will change under my rule. Okay, so there's a Futanari story. Got it.
Yeah. Hey, bring it back to the thing at hand, lady. Come on.
The blonde man takes Baled's seat and casts Corinne a sideways look with his ocean blue eyes. His bodyguards stand against the wall, watchful. Parsifal shoots me a look that says, "Things are getting exciting, aren't they?" We all sit down, and a parade of servants enter the banquet hall with carts and trays full of food. I've only got 1 bite of ham when the king staggers into his feet, goblet held aloft. "Everyone!" Wine sloshes over the side of his goblet. Wow, really going overboard with this wine detail. "I have an announcement."
Yeah.
He gestures to the blonde southerner. "Welcome, Eldithan Newell said Lan, son of Chief Lan, the formidable leader of Clisson."
Oh wow, you're really playing this drunk thing.
If they're going to overplay it, I'm going to overplay it. "I'm sure all the noble women here appreciate your presence." A ripple of laughter travels down the banquet tables. Parsifal whispers, "As if only nobles women appreciated a blonde with impeccable chest definition.
What the fuck are we talking
I've
about?
invited our friends from the beautiful hill countries of the Clisson for a good reason," the king drones. "We finally reached the terms of for annexation." My head jolts up. Annexation would mean the Clisson becoming one of the Holy Kingdom's docile territories, like Freyfus. It's all the kings ever wanted. We'll have all the sheep, iron, and potatoes the kingdom will ever need. Potatoes! Ever so important, them potatoes. Honestly, they're important. Don't forget, potatoes save lives. But what did we trade away for it? Noel Ceylon rises beside the king, goblet held up. "Very glad of this invitation I am. Honor it brings to my country to be asked by the king and join blessed Holy Kingdom." Is he purposely? That's written weird. Is that intentional, I guess?
Yeah.
I turn to Parsifal, his face a reflection of how I feel, like we're missing an essential piece of the picture. Why would the Crater Truths be this eager to reconcile with us unless... I snap my gaze to Corinne, sitting at the other end of the table with her eyes focused on her lap. The princess. The key to keeping the royal bloodline going. The perfect glue for building an alliance. "To secure the brotherhood," the king says, voice slurring. I was right, voice slurring. "I am pleased to announce that in 1 moon, my daughter, Prince Corinne, will wed Noel Ceylon of Clisson. Our kingdoms will at least unite." Praise Melidia, I knew it. Everyone clap. I join in, but I'm focused on someone else. Poor, sweet, handsome, guileless Baled, gripping his goblet so tight his knuckles strain. "I can see the spindles turning in your head, Thiels." Thiels, okay. Parsifal leans closer. "What are you plotting?" "I'm not plotting. I hope you get crotch rot for suggesting it." "He won't get more from me until he can offer me something for it." "I could help. I'd rather see you on the throne than that big oaf." Daddy has noticed we're whispering, so I raise my voice a little and say, "I'm happy for Corinne, Percy. Unification will surely return the kingdom to its former glory." Daddy gives an approving nod, and I commit it to memory. Oh, she's a daddy's girl then. Got it. Absolutely, Percival says. And annexing Clisson to the kingdom will give us strategic barriers against... He pauses for dramatic effect. The elven armies. He laughs like it's a good jape, but every muscle in my body goes tight. I'll sit your lips closed, like, with chicken thread, I hiss. Parsifal Belisar. Parsifal Belisar! My daddy sets down his fork. Elves are a threat, not a punchline. My father doesn't have a shred of patience for Belisars. In-laws or not, they're my mother's relatives. So far as he's concerned, they're poison. You should be spending your mental energy on what you're going to say to Noel Ceylon when you meet him. Your father could use the connection to a plentiful land like the Clisson. Parsifal's cheeks go fierce red. I could laugh if I weren't too busy wondering if he's right. Maybe this deal happened not only because the king bought the chief off with his beautiful daughter, but because they're both afraid of the same thing. Them. Oh, well, we've already dropped, like 60 people from this. Oh, God. All right, so that wasn't terrible, but that was bad.
That was like that was a wandering, meandering thing that kind of just... That, you know what? That whole chapter was as drunk as the characters were.
Like that wasn't a chapter, admittedly. That was just a little bit of it, but just Jesus Christ, that felt so vapid.
Yeah. Wow. Holy.
Can I also just comment how I really hate most covers for things? These covers are really bland. Like, I'm looking at all these. Stepsister. Bland. Last Things. Okay, this one is actually kind of interesting. Yeah, this one actually I can dig. Last Things. Good shit. You'll see it. Dark Shores, obviously wanting to be Game of Thrones. Nocturnia wants to be Game of Thrones. Helena Fox, How It Feels to Float. Artsy and single person, very lame. Candle of Flame, single character on there, doesn't really tell me much. She's holding a fire. Someone super chatted. Rick's Arts donated £5 through super chat. This was gold. Almost woke up my brother laughing at Phoenix's Corrine voice. I am glad you had a fun time. I had a fun time going over this, but holy shit, guys. Holy shit. Is it bad? And I mean, what? Bad. This is a bad sign for everything.
I almost want to tune back in just to see how bad it gets, but at the same time, I don't.
All right, well, I'm going to start heading off. Yeah. If you guys want, remember, I too have a novel that's currently available. I'm putting the link in the description and here, which I believe is already in the description. Let me see. Make sure. It is already in the description, and it's there for you guys. It's available in paperback and digital. Please feel free to check that out at your whim. I would very much like to have your guys' patronage. If you like lesbian romances, angst, drama, relationship struggles, basically life just fucking characters over, it's the book for you. It gets happy, trust me.
Yep. And here's my website that I've been posting all my shit on. I have one short story on there right now. I'm trying to think of some other ideas for one. But yeah, that's kind of where all my shit's located these days. That I'm putting them all over there, including reviews that are not. So there are site exclusive reviews over on the website.
So if anyone wants to support us, you can check us out at those two different links, or you could patron us at our Patreons, which my Patreon I know is down in the link. I don't know about yours.
And if you go to the website in the top corner, it has links to all my other social media, my Twitter, my Tumblr.
If you subscribe to either one of our Patreons for $1 or more, you get access to the Team Frostbite Discord server, where me, Tom, and other members of the Team Frostbite community, such as Fatman Falling, the Floof Artist, Dashi Lee, Mediocrity, we're all regularly active and like to interact with people that interact with us. And if you guys really don't feel like shelling out to help us, consider dropping just a like on the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and ringing that bell while also activating your own alerts in YouTube, because you have to have those active to get email notifications or any kind of notifications really about uploads coming out. Trust me, YouTube has been screwing us over for such a long time.
Yep. Oh yeah, they have. Yeah, same goes to me. I've a series where Raymond does too, but I have a series right now where I'm reading over the Ruby book. Volume 6 review will be done whenever I stop being so tired of not working on it. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm always working on something, even if I don't always show off what I'm working on. I'm always working on something. And one last
ad for myself: Fixing Ruby Part 5, Volume 3, barring copyright BS, will be out this coming Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be out. Yeah. It will be the first part of 5 parts. So keep an eye open for that. You'll subscribe. You should subscribe to be ready for those. It's going to be a blast. That I'm probably going to be streaming hopefully this Saturday to finish off Ruby After the Fall. So hopefully all of that pans out for us. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all had a fun time, and I will catch you all on the flip side.
See you guys later.